Hundreds of years ago, a massive meteorite from space crashed onto the continent, causing a cataclysmic explosion. From the epicenter of the blast, tens of thousands of cosmic insect eggs spread everywhere, taking on strange forms, their shells rough and repulsive like solid rocks. Those tens of thousands of eggs hatched into countless giant insect monsters 10 times the size of humans, fierce and brutal, flooding the streets and destroying everything in their path, forcing humanity to mobilize military forces to fight back. But conventional weapons were powerless against the swarm, causing mankind to quickly lose much of its living space. Many years later, a great human sage enlightened the Ling contract technique, opening the last ray of hope. Mature daughters awakened the Ling contract form, while men became Ling contract masters, awakening their innate Ling contract talents to support each other in fighting the monsters. With the fierce power of the Ling contract technique, they saved and maintained the last pure territory of humanity. At Thandang Academy, a lively atmosphere filled the campus on the day of the annual awakening ceremony. A female student wearing a pale pink dress with long flowing hair slowly approached the Ling stone floating among the crowd. She reached out to touch it, but suddenly blushed and gasped, "Ah!" Nearby, the disciplinarian, an older man, stood observing with a pensive look. He stroked his chin attentively, reading the awakening abilities of each student. When a floating sword appeared before the girl, he spoke in a steady voice. "Kolam, tranquil sword, grade, C sharpness attribute." Hearing the disciplinarian's declaration, Lam bowed her head with a gloomy face and sad eyes. She stared at the hand that just touched the pink Ling stone, muttering, "Just an ordinary grade C talent again." In the crowd, Han Qian, handsome and confident, stood calmly with his hands in his pockets, eyes sparkling with anticipation. In his heart, he thought today was the annual awakening ceremony that only happens once a year, and he had just time-traveled here not knowing what Ling contract talent he would awaken. Suddenly, the disciplinarian's voice thundered, cutting through his thoughts. "Next is Tu Mai." Tu Mai stepped forward with confident and arrogant poise, clad in a modern combat armor that was both alluring and exuded a strong personality. She approached without hesitation and placed her hand on the pink Ling stone. Instantly, a brilliant golden light exploded, shooting straight up into the sky, dazzling the entire area. Tu Mai seemed to feel the mysterious power flowing into her body, standing on tiptoe with eyes closed, suddenly exclaiming, "Ah!" Through the misty smoke, a spear appeared, shining brilliantly. Its blade glowed with a mysterious wine-red hue, as if containing infinite power. The disciplinarian watched wide-eyed, with his mouth agape, voice full of amazement. "Tu Mai Bish Huyet Contract Silver Spear, Grade S, with the immortal divine aura attribute that never fades." Everyone present at Thandang Academy, from students to teachers, was stunned and amazed by this rare sight. But everyone at the ceremony was shocked by what just happened, whispering and marveling among themselves. One student exclaimed, "Thandang Academy hasn't had an S-grade Ling contract in years. I didn't expect one to appear today, and with an attribute, too." Another whispered, eyes gleaming, "Is this really the power of an S-grade Ling contract?" Before someone awakened an S-grade Ling contract talent. If he teamed up with Tu Mai, wouldn't they be unbeatable? A man, seeing Tu Mai approaching him, quietly leaned toward the person beside him, acting secretive. He put his hand to his mouth, pretending to ponder, "Please don't spread rumors. Tu Mai already has a boyfriend." Suddenly, Tu Mai strode to Han Qian with arrogant poise, placed her hand on his shoulder, and coldly declared before many eyes, "Han Qian, let's break up. I've awakened an S-grade Ling contract. Now you and I are no longer from the same world." Witnessing this, the crowd burst into laughter, teasing them. Han Qian was humiliated in front of everyone, frowning with sharp eyes following Tu Mai's figure. He thought to himself, "It's just awakening an S-grade Ling contract. Do you think I'm still the sycophantic dog I was before time-traveling?" Memories flooded back like a slow-motion film. Before time-traveling into this body, Han Qian was a fool who always worshipped Tu Mai. He often massaged her feet meticulously, prepared lunches, and even flattered her just to make her happy. But Tu Mai never appreciated it. Once, she outright knocked over the meal he had painstakingly prepared, angrily shouting, "What kind of loving lunch is this? It's disgusting." At that time, Han Qian could only bow his head and beg, "I'm sorry, I will improve my cooking skills. Please don't break up with me." Back in the present, Han Qian looked into the mirror, the corner of his mouth curling slightly, his eyes full of determination. He told himself, "In the era of Lin Ke, strength is supreme. This life I will no longer be a bootlicking dog. The crowd continued to mock him with malicious tones. Han Qian, you fool, let go quickly. How can a pheasant match a phoenix? Another person joined in. Exactly, if you keep clinging to Tio Mai, a lot of people will come teach you a lesson. Get lost. Han Qian paid no attention to the insults. He clenched his fists and coldly retorted, You petty people just sway with the wind. Aren't you worried that I will awaken a star-level talent? Tio Mai not far away heard this and turned back with a contemptuous smile. A Ling Ke talent of S rank is rare. Do you really deserve it? Just then, the headmaster shouted, Next up, Han Qian! Han Qian stepped forward proudly with a majestic demeanor. He placed his hand on the giant spirit stone, and immediately a strong pink aura flared up, but then quickly died down, showing no further reaction. Han Qian blinked in confusion, silently asking, Why is there no reaction? Tio Mai laughed loudly with contempt. This kind of useless trash, won't they leave you alone even during the new year? Still so arrogant at this moment, it's laughable. But just as the words ended, Han Qian felt a terrifying power surge within his body. The pink spirit stone suddenly exploded, radiating a brilliant light that illuminated his face. From above, a thunderous explosion rang out. A power surged straight down onto Han Qian, far fiercer than Tio Mai's, 10 times stronger than the crowds, including those who had mocked him. Now they all stood there, mouths agape in utter astonishment. This is the awakenings of a star-level talent, they stammered. A beam of light fell from the sky with terrifying force like a meteor crashing to earth, causing rocks to scatter and the wind to howl non-stop. One student shouted, Isn't that SS rank? Is it really SS rank? But on the pink spirit stone, a shimmering purple light appeared with brilliant words, Han Qian Ling Ke talent, SS rank awakening divine nature. Tio Mai's face turned pale as she clutched her head in shock. How could this be? Ling Ke masters of SSS rank appear once in 100 years, only top-ranked experts can achieve it. Students buzzed excitedly. What kind of luck does this kid have? Yes, Ling Ke masters of SSS rank are those who change history. Someone else get in line. Ling Ke masters of SSS rank once saved humanity alone with their power, turning the tide against the Trung clan and helping humans reclaim their living space. If that great power hadn't died young, maybe we would have already won. Immediately, beautiful girls from Thandang Academy pushed forward, competing loudly. Choose me. I'm a Ling Ke, spirit bearer of rank a heavenly blade, wielding a comfortably sharp sword. Another girl with sparkling eyes added, I'm rank B, not a high-level Ling Ke spirit, but I'm mature and know many techniques. Amid the noisy crowd, a beautiful girl with deep blue hair stepped forward gently, stroking Han Qian's chin with a sweet voice. Choose me. At my house, there are 360 costumes to ensure you never wear the same one twice. But Han Qian remained unmoved, waving his hand coldly and walking away. Sorry, I'm not ready to choose yet. You makeup and dress types only slow down my sword-drawing speed. Stepping out of the crowded group, Han Qian gently stretched out his hand, and immediately a bright yellow system panel appeared before him. It clearly displayed Ling Ke talent awakening, divine nature, divine power, projection with great Tao awareness. Able to detect all hidden information of the Ling Ke spirit, allowing the Ling Ke spirit's divine nature to awaken with the blessing of Tao across different eras. Suddenly, Tio Mai shamelessly appeared from behind. She approached with a fake shy look, stroking her hair and blushing. Han Qian, I didn't expect you could really awaken a Ling Ke talent of SSS rank. Before it was all my fault. Let's make up. Han Qian turned back with cold, judging eyes. Tio Mai was unaware he was reading her hidden information through divine power projection. She put one hand on her chest and raised the other generously. If you agree, starting today, I'll allow you to hold my hand. Han Qian said nothing to her, focusing on the system panel, silently pondering the strength of divine power projection. The awakening talent truly allows him to see all hidden information of the Ling Ke spirit. Still not satisfied, Tio Mai saw he didn't respond and pushed further. Then at most I'll accept a kiss or just one act beyond limits. Han Qian, calm and polite, raised his hand to block in front of Tio Mai and coldly replied, I refuse. His decisive words left Tio Mai confused, her eyes clearly showing embarrassment as he turned and walked away. She still desperately clings to her voice. Isn't once enough? Han Qian, can you bear it or not? If you can, then how about once a day? But the girls around witnessing the scene began to make sarcastic remarks. One sneered, Stop pretending to be a pure little white flower, our Han Qian isn't falling for that. Another chimed in smugly, Exactly, she didn't say a word earlier and left him. Now she's acting like a sly fox. Lucky for her if it weren't for the E-level contract awakening who would even notice her. Among them, a lively and pretty girl with pink hair tied up teasingly said, "So it's true that the lower rank beauty is indeed beautiful, but the contract awakening is useless. E-level contracts are rare to find in 100 years. The crowd joined in spewing harsh contempt. Useless contract Ha Yu Vi definitely won't last long at school. From afar, Ha Yu Vi stood gracefully like a goddess isolated in the crowd. Though her face was beautiful, she lacked confidence. Her eyes heavy with sadness, hands clenched tightly as tears welled up. She endured the cruel insults no one would choose this useless flower vase. Someone shouted, "That's right. Even if someone picks her, she won't pass the grand competition." Ha Yu Vi's eyes flooded with tears, her face filled with resentment as she thought silently, "Why does everyone treat me like this? I only awakened an E-level contract, it's unbearable." She turned and ran off with tears streaming down her face, suddenly colliding with a figure in front of her. Ha! UV unfortunately bumped hard into Han Qian's chest and instinctively fell back, causing him to shout in alarm. "Careful!" Han Qian quickly caught her, holding her safely in his arms, and anxiously asked in a worried tone, "Sorry, I didn't mean to. Are you okay?" "Ha!" UV blushed deeply and suddenly burst into tears, softly replying, "No, I'm fine." After reading the information on her system board through divine powers, Han Qian was astonished, thinking silently. Ancient divine artifact. One of the top 10 ancient divine weapons, yet only rated E-level. But with my divine aptitude, I see hidden potential. Ha! Uvi nervously reached out and lightly touched Han Qian, asking worriedly, "What's wrong? Did I hurt you when I bumped into you?" "Sorry, I didn't mean to." Han Qian smiled gently and softly placed his hand on her head, stroking it. She misunderstood, so he kindly fixed her messy hair and said warmly, "I want to invite you to complete the contract with me and become my exclusive contract spirit." "Okay." Hearing this, the surrounding crowd froze and the other girls resentfully all voiced objections. What is Han Qian doing? A contract at E-level will just be useless even if he's an SSS-level spiritual contract genius. Another shouted, "What? He's making a contract with an E-level useless person. Doesn't he want himself bold of you?" Suddenly, a middle-aged man stepped forward and interrupted the argument. It was none other than Principal Tran Quang Fo of Thandong Academy. He raised his hand to dismiss the objection, his face stern and authoritative. "No." Looking at Han Qian, he frowned and reminded him, "Han Qian, I can understand your youthful recklessness, but contract spirit agreements can't be taken lightly. You are the future of the Great Ha with the mission to defeat the Trung clan, to reclaim the lost lands of humanity." Ha Yu Vi knew her place and obeyed Principal Tran Quang Fo's words, shrinking back with tears streaming down, looking pitiful beyond words. Miss Lai Ni exclaimed, "The principal is right. My talent isn't worthy of you." At that moment, a figure with a strong presence and muscular build appeared. It was Trio Ho, the deputy captain of the city defense team of Tam Lam. He frowned and shouted loudly, "Wait!" His cold gaze swept toward Han Qian. "Han Qian, right. You caused quite a stir today." Tio Mi saw Trio Ho arrive, jumped excitedly, her eyes sparkling like stars, joyfully calling, "Wow, Trio Ho!" Trio Ho, ignoring her. Trio Ho pressed close to Han Qian, gritting his teeth angrily. "I heard you with your SSS-level awakening bullied my goddaughter, is that true?" Seeing Han Qian remain silent, he became more aggressive, pulling on his collar, eyes full of contempt. "Useless talent. How is it possible that just by my word, no one in Tamlam dares to make a contract with you?" "No, don't be so ungrateful!" he roared. "Hurry over here and apologize. Then make a contract with me or my godfather will personally blacklist you." But Han Qian was unfazed, turned coldly, and replied, "Are you worthy either?" Words like pouring oil on the fire, driving Trio Ho mad with anger. He unleashed his energy, his large hand erupting with a terrifying aura, growling, "Do you want to die?" Suddenly, someone quickly grabbed Trio Ho's wrist, stopping Han Qian's attack. Casting a curious glance at the person who intervened, it was none other than Principal Tran Quang Fo. He looked at them cautiously, then at Han Qian, and finally at Trio Ho, advising, "Deputy Captain Tru, don't act rashly. He's an awakened SSS-level contract spirit. I've already reported to the authorities." But Trio Ho was still annoyed, glaring and shouting, "Let him go only if he contracts with this useless contract spirit Ha Yu Vi." Otherwise, no discussion, I'll destroy him if he refuses to submit. Unexpectedly, Han Qian calmly nodded, his voice firm. Fine, I contract with Ha Yu Vi. Today, no one can change my decision. Han Qian quickly took Ha Yu Vi's hand, pulled her into his arms, holding her waist tightly, decisively saying, Let's go, Ha University's beauty queen, we're going to sign the contract. Ha Yu Vi, weak and unable to resist, sadly said, Sorry, I'm dragging you into this. But Han Qian's gaze was gentle. He held her hand tightly, looking straight into her beautiful eyes, comforting her. No need to apologize, you deserve it all. They began to activate the contract. Shimmering chains of binding power appeared at their feet, forming glowing figure-8 loops surrounding them both. Han Qian's eyes widened. From his pupils burst a dazzling divine light. Ha Yu Vi seemed triggered, struggling desperately, her beautiful face twisted in pain as she screamed in agony. Suddenly, a giant purple spiritual energy sphere appeared, enveloping her body, making the surrounding space feel empty, leaving only Han Qian and Ha Yu Vi. After a moment, Han Qian and Tiu Sui nearby joyfully cheered. It worked! Han Qian's fingers strummed the strings, producing a mystical melody. The system immediately announced in a resonant voice, Ha Yu Vi, SSS level contract spirit illusion form of the ancient divine instrument, Fuck High Harp. In front of Han Qian, the system panel lit up brilliantly, displaying 3 manuals with 3 skills. Battle Disruption, Melody Calm Mind, Scatter, and Dragon Wall Maneuver. Han Qian's eyes widened in amazement, silently admiring, the contract spirit is truly powerful. In his mind, he realized the Fuck High Harp combined 3 abilities, offense, healing, and support, and all-around power with no weaknesses. From the Fuck High Harp, a resonant melody sounded, stirring emotions and causing the whole space to vibrate. The harp gradually faded, revealing Ha Yu Vi's form more radiant than ever. Thanks to the contract with Han Qian, she upgraded from an E-level contract spirit to SSS level. Han Qian exclaimed in surprise, Is this the miracle of an SSS level contract spirit? Ha Yu Vi returned to normal, glancing left and right, shyly thinking, Oh my, I actually went from E-level to SSS level. Deeply moved. Ha Yu Vi threw herself into Han Qian's arms, tears of happiness streaming as she choked out thanks to him. Han Qian smiled gently and replied, No need to be polite, nothing is more interesting. The crowd gradually dispersed, everyone going home. On the other side, Trio Ho and Tio Mi stood stunned, humiliated by the scene. Tio Mi pretended to be pitiful, whining to Trio Ho. My foster father was bullied by Han Qian, losing all face. You have to compensate me. Trio Ho's eyes turned cold as he patted his chest reassuringly. Don't worry. He's contracted with an E-level contract spirit. His talent is ruined. I'll make sure he struggles step by step in Thumlam City. As he walked, he raised his hand confidently, checking the spiritual contract master for tomorrow. I've already made arrangements. In Thumlam City, Trio Ho's father was like a god. He glanced at Tio Mi with a lecherous gleam in his eyes, staring at her ample chest, saying, What good is saying thanks? How do you plan to repay me? Tio Mi didn't hesitate, pressing into his arms, placing her hand on Trio Ho's muscular chest coquettishly. Too bad, let's go to the usual place. I'll repay my foster father there. Trio Ho's eyes gleamed brightly as he smiled pervertedly. Good, tonight we play hard. A few hours later, social media exploded with shocking news in the city. Our Thandang Academy has a student awakened as an SSS-level talent contract master, but he's lustful and willingly signed a contract with a useless E-level contract spirit. A famous critic commented, This young man lacks responsibility and is self-destructing his future. The public began protesting, criticizing Han Qian. Trio Ho in his private house held his phone, reading the news, laughing proudly. Dad had people spread negative news about Han Qian on the forums. It really worked. Beside him, Tio Mi, in a strange pose with a flushed face, spoke shyly, Foster Dad is amazing. Trio Ho, pleased by her flattery, grinned widely, a lecherous glint flashing in his eyes. Oh, you speak well. Which aspect? Xiao Mi coquettishly replied, Hate it so much he's good at every aspect. The more aggressive he was, using strength like a pouncing tiger, working while angrily shouting, This wave of public opinion is just a backdrop. Wait until the test starts. I'll show him what cruelty means. After the enthusiastic cart-pushing session, Xiaomi was panting heavily, trembling all over, lying exhausted on the bed. In another corner at the dining hall of Qingdong Academy, each dish was neatly arranged on a tray. When news about Han Zhan spread, people seeing him with Ha Yu Vai started gossiping. Look, she's that useless E-rank contract Lin. Only someone with a problem in the head would sign a contract with her. Another chimed in, Han Zhan must have been enchanted by her beauty. Ha Yu Vi heard the harsh words, bowed her head, her face sorrowful as she murmured, "I'm sorry." Han Zhan kindly rubbed her head in comfort. "Don't apologize all the time." She was a beauty queen, confident now, and they both sat down at the table. He playfully placed a pastry on the table, smiling. "Also eat a bit more breakfast. Don't mess up the test later, contract, Lin Master." Ha Yu Vi felt comforted, in better spirits, smiling brightly. "Okay, I'll try, just ignore those clowns, let them dance around. Later we'll show them how powerful we are." Suddenly a voice rang out, making Han Zhan turn his head eyes wary. It was Wang Lutmao with a smug expression, speaking disdainfully. "So you're Han Zhan. Everyone outside says you're an SSS rank genius, but I don't see anything special." Han Zhan showed no softness, turning to ask, "Are you Wang Lutmao?" He arrogantly replied, "I'm Xiaomi's new contract Lin Master." Upon hearing this, Han Zhan laughed, spitting out his breakfast, teasing, "Ah, Wang Lutmao, the green hat guy." Wang Lutmao's veins bulged with anger on his forehead. He yawned, revealing jagged teeth like a monster, shouting, "What are you laughing at?" Han Zhan calmly replied, "Sorry, it reminded me of something very interesting." Xiaomi stood beside, lightly poking Wang Lutmao's chest coquettishly. "Lutmao, don't be petty with him. He's just a useless contract Lin Master exiled to the lower city." After saying that, she hugged his arm and quickly left. "The competition is about to start. Let's go." "All right, just wait for me." At the vast arena of Qingdong Academy, surrounded by towering seats, the atmosphere was lively. Everything was ready for matches between students after awakening their Lin contracts. In the stands, a man's booming voice stirred the hall, raising his hand to encourage the contestants. "The grand examination is about to start." This test has different difficulty levels at each gate. Just passing one gate counts as valid. He looked toward the contestants' seats, loudly calling, "Please welcome the first team, Xiaomi and Wang Lutmao." Hearing the names they exchanged, confident smiles, and stepped forward together in the hall. Before them was a gigantic door several times taller than an ordinary person. The door slowly opened, smoke thickly obscuring the view. Suddenly, a giant foot slammed onto the ground, shaking the entire arena. The monster gathered strength and let out a terrifying roar. It was a giant black mantis bug, its front resembling a fat caterpillar, but possessing 6 long spider-like legs and a pair of sharp pincers gleaming like steel. Wang Lutmao stepped forward without hesitation, signaling Xiaomi, "It's about to start." The black mantis bug roared fiercely, its massive body leaping forward with destructive force. "Yes!" Wang Lutmao was ready in battle stance, shouting, "Prepare to fight!" He and Xiaomi, both in S-rank blue blood silver spear form, charged decisively toward the monster. Wang Lutmao swung his spear, slashing sharply into the black mantis bug's body. Not stopping, he quickly twisted the spear's tip, aiming at the beast's weak point, yelling, "Break! Pierce with all your strength." But immediately a fierce aura erupted from the black mantis bug's body, pushing back the attack. Wang Lutmao reacted swiftly, retreating and then leaping high, ready to strike again. In mid-air, Wang Lutmao tightly gripped the blue blood silver spear, channeling all his power to unleash a terrifying energy blast forward. His ear-piercing shout echoed as the spear's tip thrust straight into the black mantis bug's abdomen, causing the creature to scream miserably in extreme pain. From the wound, a large hole appeared, emitting a strange light that continuously flowed as if hiding an ancient secret. The crowd watching erupted in excitement. "This is a star-level gifted contract Lin Master, too powerful!" In just moments, he pierced through the thick flesh of the black mantis bug, truly unbelievable. The image of Wang Lutmao single-handedly defeating the black mantis bug was broadcast live on the Qingdong Academy Organizing Committee's monitor. In the surveillance room, veteran and important figures gathered attentively, watching every detail to assess the trainees' abilities. The middle-aged man, sitting in the center with sharp eyes, couldn't help but comment, "A pretty good black mang insect." Ngui Kun, in charge of Zone 1, sat with his legs crossed on the chair, arrogantly speaking, "Teacher, They wasted so much effort killing the black mang insect far worse than Lao Tzu's group. The one called teacher immediately knocked hard on Ngui Khan's head, angrily shouting, "How many times have I told you not to say Lao Tzu? Lao Tzu like that? Do you want to be my Lao Tzu?" Ngui Khan panicked and quickly waved his hands. "No, no, no." Lum Kinhuian, in charge of Zone 2, adjusted his glasses slightly, frowning thoughtfully. As an S-level contract spirit, Tiu Mi should have been able to deliver a killing blow, but the power weakened by 20%. With my experience, I think this contract spirit definitely has undisciplined habits that caused spirit energy to leak out. Trio Ho suddenly realized something, startled, coughing a few times to calm down. In the hall, the loudspeaker announced excitedly, "Congratulations to the two of you for breaking through difficulty level 7, surpassing the previous level 6 record of Thandang Academy." The stands erupted in cheers, everyone praising truly S-level. Someone shouted, "Where's Han Qian? That guy who signed a contract with a useless E-level contract spirit? I just want to see his expression." Another voice interrupted, "Don't rush, next up is his turn." Look, a clown is starting to perform. The host of the competition turned his eyes to the contestants, shouting, "All right, next inspection team, Han Qian and Ha Yu Vai." Both stepped out like radiant lights illuminating the hall. They approached the large door, which slowly opened just a small crack. Han Qian's face darkened, his eyes alert and cautious. The loudspeaker announced, "Difficulty level 10 test, black mang insects behind the door." A mountain of black mang insects appeared, full of threat. Han Qian exclaimed in shock, "10, that's strange. A level 1 difficulty test, but there are 10 of them." The audience in the stands exploded with emotion, some horrified, but others provocatively shouted, "This is Quan Fung deliberately targeting him. It's getting more and more interesting." Another voice sneered, "Serves him right for choosing an E-level contract spirit. Isn't he the one who likes to break the game? Let's see how he breaks it now." The host just turned and explained, "Difficulty levels change according to the person to filter out elites. SSS level talent logically should have difficulty increased tenfold." Han Qian quietly recalled Trio Ho's advice, thinking to himself, "Sorry, who told you to poke where you shouldn't?" The battle began. The black mang insects roared fiercely, mouths wide like demons, sharp fangs, flashing eyes, blood red. They aggressively charged straight at Han Qian. At that moment, Ha Yu Vi transformed into an ancient zither that fit neatly in his hands. Han Qian held the zither confidently. "Bring it on!" A surge of energy burst forth from his hands, blending with the enchanting sounds of the zither. Han Qian strummed a strong note, instantly causing a fierce wave of energy to shoot toward the black mang insects. Despite their large bodies, they couldn't withstand it being blasted apart into pieces, falling with loud thuds to the ground. Han Qian stood proudly amid the chaotic scene like an undefeated war god. The stands erupted. The audience shouted in shock, "Kill immediately! Right now!" "Oh my god, is that really just an E-level contract spirit?" Someone yelled, "If she's a worthless E-level, then what am I? Worse than a complete loser." The host, eyes wide and mouth agape in shock, silently thought, "How is this possible? Who is he really?" In the observation room, Ngui Khan excitedly slammed the table, standing up and shouting, "Back then, Lao Tzu took 30 seconds to kill the black mang insects. He only took 1 second." Kim Kin-huyen quietly adjusted his glasses and pondered. "This guy is very strong, but the test rules seem off. The difficulty jumped too high." Trio Ho was startled, standing up unwillingly, saying to the Thum Lam city guards, "We will temporarily increase the difficulty. Young people shouldn't waste their talent setting a bad example." He gritted his teeth, thinking, "Damn, is this little guy a powerhouse who can't be killed? He can even take down 10 black mang insects." Ngui Kang smiled leisurely, replying, "I don't see any problem. Back then, our test difficulty was similar. These kids have been too relaxed for too long. We need to increase pressure to push them." The man sitting next to him nodded slightly, his eyes flashing as if wanting to further challenge Han Qian and Ha Yu Vai's abilities. The man in the observation room curled his lips with excitement. "Yeah, keep going. I want to see the limits of this kid." Immediately, the announcement speakers outside blared, "Difficulty check 2 begins." 2 black mandibles slowly appeared, howling fiercely. Han Qian calmly plucked each string, producing gentle yet captivating sounds that concealed terrifying power. The instrument in his hands was the perfect embodiment of Ha Yu Vai. A near soulmate melody rang out, spreading throughout the space. The mystical tunes hovered like magic, wrapping around the black mandibles. They charged forward, screaming deafeningly, but as soon as they touched the breath of music, their bodies seemed enchanted and intoxicated. The seemingly gentle aura suddenly exploded powerfully with a boom. The monstrous bugs were thrown back, crashing headfirst into the ground and shattering into pieces. Han Qian caressed the instrument, smiling softly. "Is this all you got?" "Not enough yet." The stands erupted, everyone gasping and shouting in turn. "The chief is crazy!" So crazy, going straight for Quan Fuang's face. Someone yelled, "Are you just gonna let him be so reckless?" Deep 2 in the observation room, and Wei Can excitedly slammed the table. "Impressive, this guy definitely belongs in the #1 zone of Lao Tu." Deep 2 sat next to him, frowning. "Your #1 zone is the Suicide Squad sending newbies to the front lines to find death. Bring him back to my #3 zone to mature first." Hearing Diep Tu wanting to take the guy, Wei Can rolled up his sleeves, clenched his fists tightly. "Old Diep, you dare steal people from me, huh? Today sister-in-law's not here, I'm not afraid with just you." He growled, "Your brat hasn't been beaten in a while, itching for it today, right?" Seeing Wei Can and Diep Tu arguing fiercely, Tom Chet Key, in charge of Zone 4, spoke up to intervene. "Mr. Ni, Mr. Deep, the #1 zone is the main battlefield. #3 zone is a fortified attack position, nothing great. Better to have him start in my #4 zone with relic exploration first." Hearing this, Wei Can and Diep Tu immediately turned back and shouted in unison at Tom Chet Key, "Cunning bastard!" Just then, their old master, a dignified man pretending to be fierce, barked, "All right, stop arguing." The three fell silent and answered, "Yes, master." He turned to Lam Kin Huyen and asked, "Kin Huyen, what do you think of this competition?" Lam Kin Huyen adjusted his glasses thoughtfully. "This competition is meaningless. Although the Black Mandibles have thick flesh, that boy's music effectively counters them. Using quantity alone won't win. I suggest starting the highest standard test like that year." The old master nodded reluctantly. "All right, let's do that." Since Han Qian showed his ability, only Trio Ho silently stood behind with an unhappy expression. Hearing the difficulty increased proposal, Han smirked with envy, his face clearly showing jealousy. Thinking, "Highest standard test, Han Qian, let me see how you dance this time." The battlefield was quieter than before. The host, receiving orders from the observation room, announced, "To meet the upper command's request, the difficulty will be raised to the highest standard. 2 level 2 giant armored bugs, 2 level 2 thundersound birds." The whole hall gasped in horror and buzzed, "2 level 2 rare beasts, this difficulty is outrageous." Someone exclaimed, "Giant armored bugs specialize in defense, thundersound birds specialize in damage. This combo, don't say a level 1 spirit tamer, even level 2 would be hard to defend." Han Qian gripped the strings of Ha Yu Vai's instrument, still confident and poised, and said, "Bring it on, this level is worthy of my direct attention." Vuong Lut Mao, standing nearby, sneered proudly, "Humph, arrogant and egotistical." In front of Han Qian, the giant armored bugs were huge like iron-scaled salamanders, tongues flicking continuously in the air. The thundersound birds crackled with static electricity, eyes sharp and bloodthirsty, their aura ready to devour him. Han Qian calmly stepped forward when suddenly a thundersound bird opened its beak and roared a long howl. It unleashed terrifying power electric sparks, lighting up the whole area. Shockwaves from its beak emitted countless rings of electric light. Han Qian stood calmly, his fingers expertly gliding over the strings, releasing a brilliant spiritual energy beam from the majestic melody. Heavenly armored soldiers appeared, each wielding weapons, roaring in unison to kill. Under Han Qian's command, the spirit soldiers swung swords fiercely at the scales and flesh of the giant armored bugs, leaving them stunned and disoriented. From above, the thundersound bird dove down, shooting out bolts of lightning from its beak, howling fiercely. The phantom soldier swarm created by Han Qian's music instantly shattered into pieces upon being hit. The lightning from the thundersound bird grew more intense, forming a dense electric net in the air. Han Qian looked up, his gaze sharp and cold. He took a run-up, holding his instrument as he leapt through layers of lightning, his whole body glowing with a golden aura like fire, his eyes flashing brightly as he shouted in the midst of the battle melody. He poured all his strength into strumming faster, the golden aura tearing apart the thundersound bird's electric net, his entire being merging with the melody to shatter the electric barrier. In the blink of an eye, witnessing the spectacular performance, the audience in the stands were stunned, mouths agape, all exclaiming in unison, "How is this possible?" He broke through the thundersound bird's attack, a first-rank spirit contract master defeating a level 2 exotic beast many times stronger than himself. Han Qian landed the Ha Yu V instrument, still radiating overwhelming power. He stood tall amidst the large, high-level exotic beasts with an invincible aura, and whispers rose. How on earth did he do that? Han Qian lightly flicked a musical note. his eyes glowing golden, full of indomitable energy, breaking through the formation. He raised his voice in a resounding sound. The giant monsters were blown away by the storm force. Which one could escape the power of his music? All the armored insects and thundersound birds collapsed. The audience erupted in amazement, shouting, "Damn, he actually won!" Nowadays, there are people even more monstrous than monsters truly unimaginable. Under the stands, Wang Lu Mao stared at the writhing armored insect before him, mouth agape in horror, muttering, "Damn it! How much spiritual power does this guy really have?" The battle ended. The host shouted loudly, "Han Qian passed difficulty level 3. In the observation room, Wei Kan was the first to speak, gritting his teeth, his tone full of astonishment and defiance. Only 2 moves to defeat the armored insect and thunder sound bird. His music is unpredictable speed increased tenfold, never seen before. In the corner, the old master, unlike the excited crowd, wore a thoughtful, solemn expression. Is HUV really only an E-rank spirit contract? That's absolutely impossible. He turned calmly and called a shadow in the corner. "A fuck over here." The shadow immediately stepped forward. It turned out to be the old master's subordinate. A fuck folded his hands and cautiously asked, "Master, is there something you need?" The old master ordered, "Since you have the ability to distinguish spirit contract ranks, quickly investigate the rank of Ha Yu Vai." A fuck exercised spiritual power. His left eye flashed, but then furrowed his brow. "I have investigated, but cannot distinguish. Maybe her condition is like Miss Tu Thu's." The old master was stunned, turning around with astonishment. "You say she and Lin Chan are the same. Both ranked E by the appraisal stone, but their true talent cannot be distinguished. So Ha Yuvi's power comes from a contract with Han Qian." He pondered. This possibility cannot be ruled out. His face showed deep thought. This is strange. If true, Lin Chan and Han Qian should meet once. He turned to A Fuck and asked further, "Right, what did Lin Chan say her E-rank spirit contract talent's name was?" A Fuck's face grew serious and his voice solemn. Outside, Han Qian gripped the Ha Yu Vai instrument tightly, his eyes blazing as he spoke without hesitation. "Master, I want to continue the challenge." The host was surprised. "Are you sure?" The host looked into Han Qian's determined gaze, shook his head, and sighed. "Youth's vitality? Take care. As you wish, difficulty level 4 testing begins." The abnormal beasts roared and charged out with terrifying auras. A giant 1,000-legged centipede, like a serpent, shot forward its sharp tail, aiming straight at Han Qian. He strummed a tune, summoning a layer of musical, magical weapons. The intoxicating melody turned into sharp blades that sliced off the monster's head and tore it into pieces. Han Qian let go of the Ha Yu V instrument hanging beside him and charged forward, shouting with determination, "Come on, show me the limits of yourself." Spinning around, he unleashed a huge power that transformed into a long serpent aura, sweeping away the monsters it hit. The sound echoing far with an unbeatable momentum. Han Qian and Ha Yu V continuously passed difficulty levels 5, 6, 7, and 8 with victories. The large bodies of the monsters collapsed in heaps around his small yet proud figure. The host rushed forward in disbelief, shouting, "Classmate Han, you have won 9 rounds in a row. You may finish now." But Han Qian resolutely replied, "No, I want to continue testing difficulty level 10. The host was horrified. "What are you, crazy? No one has ever succeeded in difficulty level 10. The stands erupted with chatter as the students' eyes widened. Han Qian is truly defying fate. But how can someone just awakened beat difficulty level 10? That's a genuine tier 3 rare beast. If you don't want to die, it's best to stop." In the observation room, Nui Khan's face darkened, no longer fierce as before. He muttered that back then he only reached difficulty level 8 in this testing system. The image of Nui Khan's victory from years ago appeared, but now history seemed about to be rewritten after 100 years. Lam Kinhuin crossed his arms calmly and spoke with sharp eyes. "This person is a great talent. I must bring Han Qian to District 2. Nui Kan frowned hearing this and growled, "Oh, are you trying to snatch him from my District 1? Lam Kinhuin lightly pushed up his glasses, a faint smile at the corner of his lips, then suddenly unleashed power from his body. Dark purple energy flared intensely, contrasting with his elegant shirt. He snarled, "Why not?" In the hall, the host looked at Han Qian, considering, "If you insist on challenging difficulty level 10, I won't stop you, but in your current state you have no chance of winning." Han Qian sat upright on the ground, holding the Ha Yu Vai lute, smiling. "I know. Say it. Let me start again slowly from 3. According to regulations, the rest time between matches cannot exceed 5 minutes. Han Qian closed his eyes, completely calm. His slender fingers glided over the strings, playing beautiful preludes. "Give me the time for one song." The breath of energy from the music spread like mystical smoke, tinting the whole area blue. A blue glow spread, enveloping Han Qian as if he was recovering spiritual energy after fierce battles. The audience in the stands gawked and whispered excitedly. Damn, is he restoring the spiritual energy he spent. Attacking while supporting and strengthening. Now even healing. This is a perfect spirit contract, someone shouted. Such a terrifying, defiant spirit contract. The atmosphere in the observation room was as tense as a tightened string. Ngui Kun and Lam Kin Huyen confronted each other with dark energy, two opposing forces fiercely clashing. Ngui Kun barked, "Today, Han Qian must come back with me to District 1. No exceptions." Lam Kin Huyen sneered, "Oh, really? Then let's compete. Whoever wins takes him." Amid the tension, a soft cough sounded. District 5's person in charge. Lu Tinshuan slowly spoke. "Are you sure it's appropriate to send a spirit contract master who can absorb spiritual energy and heal to the front line?" Ngui Kan turned around, irritated old Lu. "You want to snatch him too? Let Han Qian come with me to District 1. Lu Tinshuan smiled. "Come to District 5 with me. The spirit contract masters under my command have at least a 30% lower mortality rate." Hearing this, Ngui Kan and Lam Kin Huyen immediately became furious. Spiritual power exploded with fierce momentum. Their summoned spirit beasts roared in unison, "No!" Seeing the students causing chaos, the old teacher could no longer hold back. He waved his hand and unleashed a raging power. His fist carried terrifying strength as he shouted, "Enough!" The three immediately fell silent and responded in unison. "Teacher," the old teacher spoke deeply. "The 8 major battle districts of Daiha each have their own responsibilities. All have achieved brilliant victories. Battle District 6. First decisive victory far and wide. Battle District 2, strategic operations. Battle District 3, expanding territory. Battle District 4, secret reconnaissance. Battle District 5, treating wounded soldiers. Battle District 6, protecting dangerous routes. Battle District 7, crossing oceans. Battle District 8, concealing the rear. These 8 districts are the pillars of Daiha's defense." He turned and continued about establishing a 9th district. "I often think about it, but haven't been able to take the first step." Lam Kin Huyen looked up at the screen, furrowing his brows, tilting his head thoughtfully, then spoke. "What? You want to establish a 9th battle district?" Lam Kin Huyen stared intently at the screen. His eyebrows knit tighter, head slightly tilted in hesitation. Can he really do it? Returning to the battle. Han Qian's historic moment begins. The thick dust gradually cleared to reveal a giant figure reflecting light. The Tier 3 red flame beast of the insect clan appeared. Unlike low-level monsters, its body was covered with burning magma, radiating terrifying heat. The host shouted, "Difficulty level 10 begins. Survive its attack for 3 minutes." And with that, the scarlet flame beast swung its 2 arms, fiercely opened its fiery mouth wide, and let out a terrifying roar. Crazy heat waves radiated, making the audience in the stands feel the burning heat even from afar. They panicked and screamed, "The heat waves are too strong." Some people pointed at Han Qian in astonishment. "Look, he's not dodging, is he crazy? This is a level 3 demon beast that doesn't run. What's he waiting for?" Contrary to the panic, Han Qian stood tall without a hint of fear. He turned to Ha Yu Vi with a gentle tone. "UV ready yet?" Ha Yu Vi replied, "No matter what you decide, I'll support you unconditionally." Immediately, Han Qian hugged the sacred instrument. Ha Yu Vi transformed and charged into the killing aura. His eyes blazed with determination as he shouted, "As a spirit cord master, I'm here not just to survive." Then the scarlet flame beast roared, opening its mouth and spitting out fierce flames, forming a long pillar of fire shooting straight at Han Qian. But he quickly dodged. The pillar of fire brushed past, igniting a huge blaze behind. Han Qian skillfully strummed the strings of his instrument. With eyes closed, he sang in a rich tone, greeting the heavenly mile. A pleasant melody sounded, blending with the cold wind aura he poured into the instrument. Ha Yu Vi soared into the sky, surrounded by furious winds like a storm. Han Qian broke his instrument and shouted loudly as he charged forward. In the auditorium, a young man in the stands was blown by the strong wind, revealing his shiny bald head after his wig was tossed off. The wealthy man widened his eyes in awe. "Impressive." Because the wind blew up the skirts of the female students from Thandang Academy, they shyly screamed, "The wind is so strong!" Han Qian paid no attention to the surroundings. He focused entirely on the battle. As his instrument broke, waves of wind from HUV surged, forming a giant whirlwind like a long rope wrapping everything tightly. Gathering all his strength, he shouted as the whirlwind charged straight at the scarlet flame beast. The massive lava-covered monster could only blink and watch the oppressive wind. It was sucked into the spinning core, howling in pain pitifully. Rocks and dirt flew everywhere. The scarlet flame beast helplessly fell to the floor, trying to resist with fierce roars. But the tightening whirlwind crushed its body into pieces that vanished without a trace. The stands erupted. The stunned audience shouted in unison, "Did he pass? How is this possible? This level 3 demon beast is really abnormal. This record probably won't be broken." Wang Lu Mao and Tu Mi watched with obvious jealousy. Why? Why was his reputation stolen? Damn Han Qian. After the fierce battle, blood stained his lips and his face was grave. He muttered, "I had to use a high-level musical score and still got bitten back this hard." Suddenly, his image began to blur and fade. Han Qian suddenly felt a gentle breeze brush past, making his body feel light. In the blink of an eye, he found himself in a strange space. Suddenly, someone stepped forward and said, "Kid, congratulations on passing the exam and entering the second testing space." Han Qian turned around suspiciously. "Who are you?" The man smiled cautiously and introduced himself. "I'm Lam Qinhuiyan, in charge of Zone Number 2. I'm here to ask you a few questions." Han Qian frowned. "What questions?" Lam Qinhuiyan calmly asked. "Who do you think will win in the end, the insect tribe or humanity?" Han Qian answered immediately. "The insect tribe may win, but humanity will never lose." Lam Qinhuiyan nodded. A faint smile appeared. Interesting answer. "So after becoming a spirit chord master, what do you fight for?" Han Qian pounded his chest with confidence. "To let the people live in peace and prosperity, for the great Ha flag to fly, to restore the glory of Huang Mot." The man applauded loudly. Old Master Lai Thu Dong slowly stepped forward, smiling while clapping. "Good, very well said." He looked at Han Qian approvingly and asked, "Kid, do you wish to take me as your master?" Han Qian was startled, his eyes flashing with surprise as the glorious history of the Lai family appeared in his mind. 100 years ago, when Great Ha faced the brink of life and death, the 3 great insect emperors united to overwhelm Li Thu Dong, who fought alone against all 3, defeated them, and stopped the Great Wave to save Great Ha. He pointed at himself excitedly. "Can I really take you as my master?" Mrs. Li Thu Dong nodded. "Of course, as long as you agree." Without hesitation, Han Qian clasped his hands and bowed respectfully to his master. Li Thu Dong smiled with his eyes nearly closed, patting his shoulder. "Satisfied? Not bad, not bad. You suit my taste better than the others." Li Thu Dong took from his robe a ring set with several bright red stones and slowly held it out in front of Han Qian. "When you first met me, I had no precious gift to give you. This ring emits a mysterious black smoke," he said solemnly. "This ring was made by me from the 2 bones of the 9th-level insect emperor I killed that year. Inside it contains a secret space dimension that can store items." Holding it, Han Qian looked at the ring, feeling the terrifying energy and overwhelming aura within. He thought silently, just a piece of bone, is this formidable? How powerful was the 9th-level insect emperor before he died? Seeing Han Qian happily accept the ring, Li Thu Dong gently advised, "This ring easily defeats low-level insect tribe members, but when facing stronger enemies, it will awaken fierce attacking desires. If you're worried, don't wear it casually." Without hesitation, Han Qian put the ring on his finger, his eyes shining brightly as he smiled and said, "This is the master's gift for my apprenticeship ceremony. Of course I have to wear it." Li Thu Dong suddenly glanced at Lam Qinhuiyan, his expression dark. "You're not like the others who received rings but dared not wear them." Then, as if switching off his stern mode, he returned to a gentle look, smiling with his eyes nearly closed, placing his hand on Han Qian's shoulder. "Enough talk, you and that little miss just finished the test. Your energy is drained. I'm in a good mood today, so I'll take you all out for a big feast." The group quickly left the atmosphere filled with excitement. They arrived at a famous hot pot restaurant near Thandong Academy, rich in traditional style, bustling with people and vehicles. In a private room, Han Qian and HUV were treated by Li Thu Dong to a large, fragrant hot pot. He looked at Han Qian with affectionate eyes and said, "Han Qian, I invited your senior brothers here so you can get to know each other." Lam Qinhuiyan sat beside them, acting cool, pushing up his glasses to introduce himself. "I am Lam Qinhuiyan, in charge of the 2nd battle zone. We've met before." He continued to introduce the other senior brothers. 3rd senior brother, Diep Thu. 4th senior brother, Tham Triet Ki, fifth senior brother Luting Sun. Han Chien and Ha Yu-vi immediately stood up, clasped their hands, and bowed respectfully to the senior brothers. Deep Tu smiled with his eyes nearly closed, quickly waving his hand. We're all family here, no need to be formal. Then he happily continued. The other senior brothers haven't arrived yet. Sixth senior brother is guarding the border and can't come back. Seventh senior brother is overseas, so we haven't met yet. And eighth senior brother... Before he finished, a shadowy figure suddenly appeared behind Han Chien. A cold, deep voice cut in. No need for introductions, I'm here. The person handed out a silver business card and said, This is my number, contact me if you're in danger, there's only one chance. After speaking, the figure vanished into a misty smoke. Han Chien was stunned, stammering, Eighth senior brother has a really unique personality. Lum King Huyen beamed, threw a box toward Han Chien, and cheerfully said, These are gifts from the senior brothers. Inside are battle rights robes and other useful things. Han Chien quickly took it, catching it skillfully, smiling gratefully as he said, Thank you, many thanks to all the senior brothers. Suddenly, a woman with pink hair wearing fashionable sunglasses burst in fiercely, her voice shouting loudly, echoing through the room, Running off to eat hot pot outside with me, aren't you afraid of consequences? Ha Yu-vi saw her and froze in shock, stammering, Aunt. The woman stood with legs apart, one hand on her hip, the other pointing straight at Ha Yu-vi as she yelled, You normally eat at my place, but now that you have a promising future, you sneak out alone to enjoy yourself, right? But before Ha Yu-vi could explain, the woman roared, You're not an aunt. Then she raised her hand, ready to give Ha Yu-vi a fierce slap, but Han Chien grabbed her hand quickly to stop her. She struggled to pull her hand away and shouted angrily, Let go of me! Turning to Han Chien, she pointed at his face, her voice loud and aggressive. You're the little brat who deceived my Yu-vi, aren't you? What do you want? I've raised Ha Yu-vi for so long, of course I want full compensation. Hearing this, Ha Yu-vi felt humiliation rise up. She gritted her teeth, her eyes sharp as knives, and shouted, Enough, aunt! Stunned, she turned around in surprise. How dare you yell at me? Ha Yu-vi. Fine. You've grown enough feathers and wings thinking you can be lawless just because you passed the test right. Without stopping, the woman flew into a rage, screaming like a demon. Let me tell you, your little girl's uncle is from District 4. If you dare yell at me, do you think I won't make you suffer until you can't move? In the tense atmosphere of the Linka meeting, Master Tam Triet Ki suddenly sensed something unusual. He sat up bewildered and asked, Wait, the 4th district you mentioned? The pink-haired aunt immediately pointed straight at Tam Triet Ki's face, her tone aggressive, her attitude contemptuous. What's going on? Who the hell are you to shout at me? And not stopping, she turned to scold Li Tudong. And you are the grandfather of Han Chien, a disgraceful old man just like Mrs. Tran Tin, she shouted. Today I'm making this clear. I want to take my Yu-vi to the Tam Kim ceremony, and there's no way to do it without rooms and vehicles. All must be under my name. My family has relatives in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th combat zones. If you dare refuse, I'll show you what I'm capable of. Although furious and trembling, Li Tudong maintained a calm demeanor. He slammed his hand on the table, sternly turned to Ha Yu-vi and shouted, What are you still standing there for? They already called me an old man. Why aren't you calling immediately? Jep Tu Tam Triet Ki and Lu Ting Sun scrambled to pull out their phones and call the combat zones. The three of them shouted in unison in chaos, Why is this happening in our combat zone? But only Nui Khan sat calmly on the side, sipping a cup of tea. He frowned and snorted coldly. The aunt, seeing the people hurriedly making calls, acted even more smug, as if daring anyone to summon reinforcements. The pink-haired aunt arrogantly declared, No, I'm not afraid. I have many people above me. Just then her phone in her pocket rang. She hurriedly picked it up, answering with a smug tone. Hey, why are you calling me at such a free time today? But just seconds later, her expression changed and her voice trembled. Do you want to kill my whole family? I'm telling you, from now on, our two families are severing ties. Li Tudong sat with arms crossed, watching her panic, slightly smirking. He calmly said, You said you have people above you. I have no one above me anymore. The aunt now realized the problem, pressing the phone to her ear and repeatedly asking, Uncle Nu, do you want to take advantage of dying early so you don't involve us? Then she hung up the phone. Her hand trembled so much she couldn't hold it. The phone fell to the ground with a clatter while she collapsed, sinking down. Sweat poured out as if she lost all strength. She muttered in a panicked voice, What on earth is going on here? Bumped. At that moment, a restaurant staff member approached with a polite but firm voice. Hello, please, don't cause trouble here. Hearing this, the aunt immediately lost her temper. What trouble are you talking about? They're the ones pushing me to the edge with no way out. She lay flailing on the floor, screaming, "Everyone come see the Lin Ki master is bullying an ordinary person. They want to force me to death." Lee Tu-dong witnessed the tantrum with eyes glaring in disgust. He waved his hand decisively and angrily shouted, "Quiet or die!" A force radiated from him, pressing close to the aunt's face, terrifying her to the extreme. She cried with tears streaming down, screaming pitifully. Ha, Yuvi, ashamed of the aunt's rude attitude, bowed her head and choked out an apology to her master, saying it was all her fault. But before she could finish, Lee Tu-dong interrupted in a deep voice, "This is not your fault. You have no parents. From now on, Han Qian, the senior brothers, and I are your family. Also, that aunt's family must never come back. You and Han Qian stay at my place." Hearing this, Ha Yu-Vai's cheeks flushed pink, her eyes watering. All the humiliation she endured now seemed lifted. She was moved, tears streaming down, smiling happily, and softly replied, "Yes, thank you, master." Seeing Ha Yu-Vai, pitiful Lee Tu-dong softened his tone to comfort her and ease the heavy atmosphere. He forced a smile. "Don't be so formal. Come here and eat." While speaking, he pointed his chopsticks at the hot pot and gently guided, "This is a 9-compartment hot pot, pay attention. The middle 4 are for dipping vegetables, just dip lightly and eat. The 4 big square compartments are for blanching ingredients, and the 4 small ones in the corners are for slow cooking, good for long dipping." After hearing this, Han Qian looked confused and pointed to himself, asking, "What about me and my sister? Are we dipping dishes, cooking dishes, or stewing dishes?" Lee Tu-dong laughed in a warm voice. "What about you? I don't know. Everyone has their own path. No one can be sure of another's future, and I'm no exception." Han Qian pondered briefly, eyes lowered, muttering, "My own path." Suddenly, he seemed to realize something and jolted. He stared at the hot pot, now only full of vegetables, and shouted in alarm, "Wait a minute, damn it, where's my beef?" Han Qian was also stunned and then discovered he was full of beef. He quickly covered it with both hands, smiling happily, and changed the subject. "Why didn't Kaylin of the senior brothers and sisters come here?" Hearing Kaylin's name, Lam Kin Huyen shifted the topic, pushed up his glasses, and smiled slyly. "You two probably still haven't shared a room, right?" Han Qian and Ha Yu-Vai blushed in unison. "No, not yet." Lam Kin Huyen continued excitedly. "After sharing a room, Lin Ke masters can acquire a certain level of overcoming ability. Although this ability is weak, it's extremely useful. Kaylin forms are divided into 2 types, animal form and human form. Your sisters-in-law are maintaining the human form, keeping our positions steady." Han Qian, as if discovering a new world, eyes shining with curiosity, asked, "So Lin Ke masters and Kaylin can combine to fight or fight alone? So they have to share a room to do that?" Lam Kin Huyen, as if recalling something, asked without hesitation. "Speaking of which, I'm very curious about one thing. Is Ha Yuvi really just an E-level Kaylin?" He smiled mysteriously without hiding. "She was initially E-level, but I have the ability to Divine Eyes Kaylin. After recovery, she reached SSS level." Tom Triet Ki and Lu Tin Xuan were stunned and exclaimed, "What? No kidding. Is there really such a strange ability? Never heard of it before." Han Qian smiled lightly, nodding in response. "Outsiders think I randomly choose Kaylin, but I never make contracts recklessly with my talent. If I encounter a Kaylin with divine potential, even if low level, I won't let it go. Besides Fuck Hai holding one of the 10 ancient divine weapons, there are 9 others." First, Lee Thu-dong said sternly with a low voice, "Your 9th elder's talent must not be revealed to anyone other than us." After returning, Qin Huyen immediately set Han Qian and Ha Yu-Vai's information as top secret, absolutely no leaks. Han Qian and Lam Qin Huyen nodded in unison and answered loudly, "Yes, teacher." Teachers Lu Tin Xuan and Diep Thu stood up, raising their glasses with bright smiles. "Today, teacher is happy. We have good news. Reporting that the Great Jia and the Righteous Race have won 19 consecutive battles and reclaimed 6 lost territories. The Great Xia map has expanded by 20%. Investigation into the race outbreak this year has also made great progress." The 3 Lai Thu-dongs excitedly stood up, raising their glasses. "All right, one at a time. All are good news." The group clinked glasses and shouted, "To the future of Great Jia bottoms up!" The lively banquet lasted until the clock struck past 5 p.m. Although it was already dusk, everyone still enthusiastically shouted bottoms up. Lee Thu-dong, as promised, led Han Qian and Ha Yu-Vi to his home. Seeing him staggering, Han Qian worriedly asked, Teacher, are you all right? Li Thu-dong smiled proudly, pushing open the front door with a hand, his voice booming. You underestimate this old man too much. Instead of worrying whether I have a car or not, better come see your new home. At the opened door, Han Chien and Ha Yu-vai stepped in, immediately overwhelmed by the spacious, luxurious house with a modern, delicate design that made Han Chien unable to help but exclaim, I didn't expect teacher to have a house in Tam Lam. Li. Thu-dong paused briefly, turned to Han Chien with a gentle voice. Tam Lam is my wife's hometown. Han Chien looked around curiously and asked again, Where is Master's mother? Why isn't she living here? Teacher Li Thu-dong stopped, his lonely back trembling slightly. He frowned with a sad voice. She died in battle. He stood silently, eyes distant, looking through the window, confiding, The world only knows Li Thu-dong for his strength to rescue and kill 3 great bug emperors, but no one remembers her name. Without her, what would I be? Hearing this, Han Chien's face grew heavy, and he comforted. Sorry, teacher. I shouldn't have mentioned Master's mother to make you sad. Li Thu-dong tilted his head seriously and reminded Ninth Elder, from now on, treat UV better. They are not just K-Lin, not tools for battle, but human beings with flesh and blood, another half of you. Han Chien nodded gratefully. Thank you, teacher, for teaching me. I will cherish UV. Then he hesitated and asked again. Teacher, can you tell me Master's mother's name? As long as someone remembers her, she will not be forgotten by the world. Li Thu-dong smiled lightly, eyes warm. You really are different from them, very much to my liking. Li Thu-dong's voice deepened, eyes distant. Her name is Lang Mai. He immersed himself in memories and recounted the battle recorded in history. I killed 1 emperor boss, and she risked her life to take down 2. If she were still alive, honored to save Great Xia, she would deserve it much more than me. He took a white handkerchief from his coat pocket, gently stroked it with a sorrowful voice. It's getting late. Yes, you find a room you like and rest. Han Chien and Ha Yu-vi replied in unison. Yes, master. In the quiet night outside the large villa, Li Thu-dong sat silently on the grass. Beside him was a photo of his late wife. He looked up at the sky. His eyes filled with sadness as he whispered, Little Mai, I wonder when was the last time we watched the moon together. Suddenly a cheerful voice rang out. Han Chien and Ha Yu-vai happily stepped forward and exclaimed, Master isn't here. Let's watch the moon with him next time. Li Thu-dong wearily stood up, seeing their concern. He smiled faintly. You rotten kids joke around looking at you. Reminds me of little Mai and me when we were young. Suddenly, Li Thu-dong's spirit flared up, his eyes blazing. To protect the one you love, you must have strength. He shouted, Next I will teach you the martial art I know best. After speaking, he tensed and shouted loudly, unleashing a powerful punch that broke a large tree in front of him. The advanced energy technique compressed so intensely the tree snapped in half in an instant. He clenched his fist tightly, explaining intently, This martial art is called the 8 Jaws Fist, consisting of 8 locks corresponding to 8 secret parts of the body. When all 8 locks are opened, you will surpass human limits. Han Chien quickly followed a glow of the 8 Jaws Fist flashing from his body. He took a fighting stance and asked his master, Is this correct? Li Thu-dong was stunned and incredulous, thinking, How could this be? Ngui Khan took half a year to learn it, and this kid unlocked it with just a glance. He was bewildered, but quickly stepped forward, focusing his strength and raising his fist. Next, I will teach you real combat with the 8 Jaws Fist. Immediately, the force of his attack threw Han Chien far away. Han Chien cried out and fell to the ground, his whole body trembling and groaning. It hurts so much. Li Thu-dong looked at him with excitement, thinking even a genius's talent must be restrained a bit to temper his fighting spirit. He smiled with satisfaction and said, Teaching a genius disciple feels really exhilarating. Then followed continuous training sessions. Han Chien was beaten, relentlessly, crying pitifully and begging, Oh, master, please go easy. Time passed in the blink of an eye, and soon it was the next day at the academy. Ha Yu-vai and Han Chien walked side by side. She asked worriedly in a soft voice, Does your face still hurt? Han Chien laughed heartily and waved his hand. It doesn't hurt anymore. Ha ha ha. Master was just teasing me. Just then, Vuong Mao Luat and his group appeared out of nowhere and blocked their path. He sneered contemptuously. Oh, isn't this the SSS level gifted spirit judge from the exam, shining with a strange aura? Heh, shining brightly is useless. You're just like trash discarded by others. After speaking, Vuong Mao Luat's group brushed past, leaving mocking looks behind. Ha! UV asked, puzzled. What do they mean? Han Qin frowned coldly and replied, Don't pay attention. They're just disgusting flies. The two continued on to the principal's office. UV politely spoke, Principal, they are here. The principal's expression suddenly darkened, unusually stern. He sighed heavily. Bad news orders have come down from above. From today, you two will be sent to the Tamlam City Protection Organization to begin frontline duty. He handed Han Qian a notification letter. This is the notice. Prepare quickly to report to the front line. The principal hesitated awkwardly. I know this decision doesn't value your talent, but it's an order from above. I fought against it, but to no avail. Han Qian held the two notices, his gaze thoughtful, smiling slightly as if realizing something. No, I accept this decision. Perhaps, as Master said, this is my path. Yes. Vuong Mao Lut stood behind, witnessing the scene, sneering confidently. Han Qian, I told you from the start. You're not as good as me. Even if you pass the toughest exam, so what? Offend the government and death is the only path. He and his gang strode past Han Qian and HaYuV, laughing arrogantly. Han Qian grimaced, a flash of irritation in his eyes. Vuong Mao Lut smirked, unleashing power from his palm, confidently taunting, What, want to fight me? Last night I rolled around all night with Tu Mi. My strength has doubled. Do you think you can trample me at will? Han Qian charged forward without hesitation, roaring, Today I humiliate you to wash away past insults. Moments later, their two punches collided, unleashing a terrifying explosion of power. Vuong Mao Lut's arm bone shattered instantly. He clutched his arm and cried out pitifully, his face pale and tears streaming down. Han Qian didn't stop, throwing another punch straight at his face. Blood splattered from his nose and mouth, and several teeth broke and fell out. In the blink of an eye, Vuong Mao Lut lay motionless on the ground with a bruised face. Han Qian grabbed HaYuV's hand and walked away calmly, coldly, saying, Let's go. This person deserves it. You? V looked up at him and asked, Where are we going now? Report. Just then the principal stepped out and shouted loudly, Where is everyone? Vuong Mao Lut fainted from exhaustion. Quickly take him to the infirmary. Han Qian quickly showed the notice letter to the manager, but he responded indifferently. Hello. Go get a number at the door first. Wait for your number to be called, then come back. Han Qian interrupted coldly. I'm not here to ask for help. I'm here to take the position of manager. He stared at him in surprise, then quickly forced a polite smile. Oh, it's you guys. Deputy Captain Zhao checking attendance. If you want to die, why not show some respect? The only SSS-level gifted spirit contract master of Tamlam City a little bit. He immediately checked the information on the computer, his tone excited. Your file has been received. You have been appointed captain of Team 0527 in the City Protection Organization. He further explained each city has a squad first, supervising other protection teams numbered by area. Then he raised his hand to point. Office 0527 is at the left entrance. Please come in. Thank you. Han Qian and HaYuV slowly stepped inside the space, filled with a strong smell of alcohol trash scattered everywhere, looking dirty and chaotic. Han Qian grimaced, covering his nose and muttering, Is this really Team 0527's office? It's such a mess. Suddenly, a beautiful red-haired woman with a sexy figure looked at them intently and asked, Who are you two? What brings you here? Han Qian stepped forward, his voice firm. The new squad captain of Team 0527, Han Qian. The woman was stunned, her face showing surprise. At the same time, a man lying on the bed with messy hair and rough beard glared at them, then casually turned his face away with a contemptuous tone. Not even grown enough hair yet, and you want to be our captain? He waved his hand dismissively, the man's contemptuous tone trying to drive them away. HaYuV, annoyed, shouted, Get lost to some quiet place, just get lost, is that it? How dare you say that? Someone like that deserves to be a member of the City Protection Organization. Suddenly the man got off the bed and approached HaYuV, speaking flirtatiously with a soft, playful tone. That angry look is quite attractive, so interested in becoming my spirit contract holder, I promise. Before he could finish, Han Qian lunged forward and threw a punch straight at him. The man lost balance and fell backward. Blood splattered from his mouth and nose, and he clutched his face, crying out pitifully. At that moment, the red-haired woman Hong Dnv slowly stepped forward and reminded Dich Pham greet the new captain. But her words annoyed Dich Pham Hong Dnv. I still don't have money to buy alcohol. Give me money. Hong Dnv decisively turned and slammed the door, shouting, I don't have money now. Dich Pham was stunned, unable to say anything further. He stood up, dusted off his clothes, and forced a smile at Han Qian. You see, Team 0527 is so broken down we can't even buy alcohol. Do you still plan to stay? Han Qian replied firmly. Yes, the decline here is only temporary. Dick Farm sneered and walked to the broken computer recklessly. The screen displayed a series of data. He pointed and said, "Look here, among the city protection squads of Tam Lam, we rank last from the bottom." He sat back down nonchalantly and continued. 2 months left till year end. The organization will cut members. With this performance, our team will definitely be sent to the lower city area. He took a final sip from the bottle, sounding frustrated. The lower city has no order, is dirty and torn apart. Survival is extremely difficult. Then annoyed Deech Pham threw the bottle to the ground, shattering it, growling, "If you don't want to die in the lower city, get out now." Han Qian looked at the bottle rolling on the ground and thought silently. Is Zhao Hu really trying to push me down to the lower city? I won't let him succeed. Ha Yu Vai stood behind, seriously said Han Qian. This person has lost all will, just a waste. We should leave. Running away only makes people weak, but only by facing and winning can we grow stronger. Han Qian nodded, his eyes blazing with even more determination. Even if I join another squad, Zhao Hu won't let me go. Both of them moved toward the door. Han Qian declared firmly, "Instead, I will stay to reform Squad 0527 and turn it into Tam Lam's #1 squad." You decisively pushed the door open, shattering Zhao Hu's plan. Hong Dianvi, sitting inside, calmly said, "This place does not welcome you two." Han Qian didn't elaborate, just asked, "Must we sit still and wait to die, wasting time like this?" Hong Dianvi and Bok Sung were startled, standing up with shocked faces. "Who exactly are you? How did you see through my lie?" Han Qian calmly replied, "I already introduced myself. I'm Han Qian. That was just showing a bit of my ability earlier." Bok Sung K. Lin. A-level form illusion transformation with the ability to lie can realistically change appearance, body shape, and height. He observed her thinking to himself that she didn't seem focused, but just now Dich Pham demanding money from her proved she was still trying to maintain Team 0527. If he could persuade her, the team still had hope. Bok Sung glanced at him attentively. "What do you want to do? If you intend to use this to threaten me, I advise you to give up early." On the contrary, Han Qian smiled and reached out his hand sincerely. "Will you do the mission with me?" Dick Pham spoke convincingly to Bok Sung. "Pham has no willpower, but surely she doesn't want to go down to the lower city, right? What makes you believe I can do it? I'll share half the rewards from the mission with you. Cooperate once and you'll know my worth." Hearing this, Bok Sung was slightly shaken. Her eyes briefly showed trust, but still held some doubt. "This man can see through my lies. He really is a bit different. Trying once won't hurt." She nodded in agreement. Seeing that Han Qian continued, "If so, you handle collecting the missions. I will choose." Bok Duong took out a tablet and handed it to Han Qian. "Right now there are 3 missions suitable for our squad. Take a look." The tablet screen quickly displayed the mission details. Find the missing city guards, 50 points. Mission 1. Help the spirit. Keymaster and K. Lin reconcile emotional disputes, 10 points. Mission 2. Escort children to school for the owner, 10 points. Mission 3 daily. Han Qian frowned and muttered, "These missions are low difficulty. Low points too. It will take a precious season to turn the scores around." Then confidently, he tapped the screen. "If you want to do it, do the mission with the highest points." The screen immediately showed detailed mission info. Clean up the species after testing their life activities found in the sewers of Tam Lam City. We hope the city guards will eliminate the mission points, 300 points, not including extra rewards like materials or species. High danger coefficient. Recommended team size, 6 to 8. Bok Sung was stunned and shouted, "Are you crazy? Don't you see the recommended number of people below? 6 to 8 people. At least 2 teams are needed to finish." But Han Qian calmly tapped the screen, triggering the notification. Mission accepted successfully. He smiled. Only missions like this can reverse the scores. Bok Shuang's face turned serious and warned, "You really are crazy. If the mission fails, 10% of the mission points will be deducted as punishment." But Han Qian didn't care, leading Ha Yu Vai outside with confidence. "Let's go. If anything happens, I will take responsibility." Bok Shuang frowned in annoyance and muttered, "Fine then." Bok Shuang frowned and muttered, "If we agree to cooperate. If the mission fails, do I have to pick up his body too?" Meanwhile, at another squad, members panicked upon seeing the mission robbery notification. Someone hurriedly reported to the captain, "The mission to clean the species in the sewer has been taken." Not only the captain, but the whole team was stunned and confused. "What? Who robbed our mission? Is it Squad 0018 trying to steal the credit?" Another member shouted, "Anyway, this is 300 points equivalent to 2 months. They definitely can't swallow this easily. Moreover, their captain just confirmed cooperation with us." The captain, angry about being robbed of the mission, led the team to the sewer entrance to demand justice. Let's see who dares to steal. Over here at the sewer entrance, Bok-sung warned Han Chin and Ha Yu-vi to be careful. Life detection devices have scouted 8 level 2 or higher species. I fear inside is their nest. Han Chin glanced at Ha Yu-vi, nodded to signal their understanding before moving in. He turned to Bok-sung, "Wait outside. We'll be back soon." Without waiting for her response, Han Chin and Ha Yu-vi rushed straight inside. Bok-sung saw their recklessness and shouted loudly, "Those are level 2 insect tribe! Even a normal team would struggle to deal with one. Yet you dare to fight the whole swarm. Truly reckless." But just as he finished, inside came thunderous sounds like the earth was shaking. Bok-sung clenched her teeth worriedly, looking ahead. This is bad. Unable to hold back, she rushed in to take a quick look. Has something happened? Moments later, Bok-sung arrived, stunned to see Han Chin and Ha Yu-vi standing calmly observing the surroundings. The bodies of 8 level 2 insect tribe lay scattered and destroyed. Bok-sung slowly approached, carefully inspecting, unable to believe her eyes. Han Chin saw her and reassured, "No need to worry. It's all over now." Bok-sung stammered in shock. You did all this?" Han Chin confidently stepped forward with a smile. "Yes." Han Chin nodded confidently to Bok-sung. "Mission considered successfully completed. You should go collect valuable materials from the insect tribe corpses. They can be exchanged for a good amount of money." Before leaving, he left a sentence that made Bok-sung suspicious. The person on the surface may be the city's missing protector, perhaps already dead. You can bring him back too. Bok-sung was stunned silently, thinking, who exactly is this person that can so easily defeat such terrifying level 2 insect tribe? An hour later, another squad rushed at top speed to the sewer entrance to see who the opponent was. But when they arrived, they only saw insect tribe corpses lying everywhere. The captain muttered confusedly, "They're all dead. A total of 8 level 2 insect tribe. Even more than the 2 we knew about." A member reported after checking, "All killed with a single blow." The captain shouted in disbelief, "Mission completed! What kind of monster is this?" Meanwhile, at Zhao Hu's office, his assistant reported the situation via tablet. "Deputy Captain Squad 0527 just completed 2 missions. Their points have increased to 350. Zhao Hu, hearing this, angrily shouted, "Boy, I told you to discipline them! Is this how you discipline them?" The assistant bowed in panic. Sorry. Zhao Hu gritted his teeth in rage. "Han Chin, don't think just because you found a strong backer that I can't discipline you." "Yes, sir." He ordered his subordinate, "Xiaobei, tell the other squads to take all the missions in Shenlam City, leave none out." Xiaobei quickly replied, "Yes, sir." Meanwhile, Han Chin, after a tiring day, returned to rest at the dining table. He asked Li Thudong, "Master, recently I can't break through level 8 power. How do I advance to the next stage?" Li Thudong replied slowly, "If you want to break through 8 levels of power, you must remember 4 words, the brink of life and death." Han Chin looked puzzled at the steaming dish before him and muttered, "The brink of life and death." After a hearty meal, Han Chin lay contentedly on his beloved bed, relaxing. Full stomach, drunk, finally some rest. Suddenly, the door opened, and the person who entered was none other than Ha Yu-vi. Ha Yu-vi hesitated, her voice embarrassed, as she asked the host, "Han Chin, can I sleep here tonight?" Hearing this, Han Chin jumped out of bed, his gaze casually glanced at a place he shouldn't, murmuring, "Is this villa very white?" "No, very spacious. Why don't you sleep in your own room?" Ha Yu-vi shyly muttered, "The truth is, the master locked all the other rooms, so I have no choice." Han Chin nodded helplessly. "Then I'll sleep on the floor, it's cooler." But Ha Yu-vi firmly opposed, "No, today you must sleep on the bed." Han Chin felt deeply puzzled inside, but still pretended, "That's not very good, huh?" That night, the two lay together on the large bed, falling into a sound sleep. The next morning, after a deep sleep, Han Chin, full of energy, cheerfully opened the squad room door, shouting, "Rested well yesterday. Today, let's find new missions." Suddenly, Bok-sung and Ditch Pham appeared unexpectedly, both shouting in unison, "A young man! The new SSS level Lingxi Master of Shenlam City, the strongest in the contest, defeating level 2 Insect Tribe solo against level 3 Insect Tribe, the #1 genius of Thandang Academy. It turned out to be Bok Shuang, full of regret, continuously bowing. Last time I really didn't know how powerful you were. I thought you took a back door and offended you a lot. I apologize. Han Qian smiled lightly. We're teammates, no need to be formal. Bok Shuang came closer, whispering to remind him, showing your talent too early will offend Zhao Hu. Things won't be simple. But Han Qian confidently replied, here ordinary people are changed by circumstances, but I want to change circumstances. Ditch Pham, sipping wine, turned to warn him about being too flashy and offending Zhao Hu, who can do anything, even banish him to the lower city. Bok Sung checked the tablet, and suddenly noticed something unusual, exclaiming that he didn't understand why all the missions in Tamlam City had already been accepted, not leaving a single one. What now? It was so hard to make some progress. Are we just going to wait for death? Han Qian frowned. You just said all the missions in Tamlam City have already been taken. Bok Sung quickly replied, yes, that's right. I mean, all the missions in Tamlam have been accepted. Han Qian's eyes flashed as he asked, what about other cities? Bok Sung was stunned. What do you mean? Han Qian calmly explained, let's change our registered residence to Thuanghai City and see what happens. Immediately, the tablet screen displayed a notification saying the mission update was successful. Han Qian handed the device back to Bok Shuang, but she nervously responded, although we can accept missions in other cities, that also means we have to run to neighboring cities to complete them. On the way out of the city full of high-level insect tribes, this path is going to be very difficult. Now Han Qian's squad sat in an old car speeding down a deserted road surrounded by abandoned houses, standing silent like witnesses to a ruined era. Suddenly, a level 1 death-gray fly insect dashed out its sharp stinger piercing straight into the car, but the car's momentum crushed the monster, splitting it in two with black blood splattering everywhere. Hot UV, seeing the insect knocked away, asked curiously, what is that? Han Qian calmly explained, level 1 death-gray fly insects operate in swarms. The larger the group, the stronger their destructive power. Dick Pham, lounging while sipping a bottle of alcohol, glanced to the side and snorted lightly. The next moment he jumped up, his face shocked and surprised, yelling, look what I see. Ahead, a giant tornado roared, swirling dirt and rocks around countless insect tribes surrounding like a dark army. Ha Yuvi couldn't help but shout, oh my God! Han Qian looked at the tornado full of death-gray flies and said in a low voice, is that really death-gray flies? With that many, their destructive force must be terrifying. Ditch. Pham grew more excited, sipping his drink and laughing loudly. Charge at them, ha ha, charge! Bok Sung, driving cautiously, turned her head and called to the captain, quickly reporting, there's a merchant convoy being chased by the death-gray fly storm over there. Should we go rescue them? Han Qian replied clearly. Why wouldn't we rescue them? Turn right, full throttle! Ditch Pham shouted excitedly. Ha-ha, charge! Bok Sung turned the wheel while reminding, hold on tight. Dick Pham couldn't hold on and banged his head against the car frame but didn't feel pain. Instead, he laughed loudly, thrilled. The merchant convoy was fleeing the insect tornado. A girl with emerald green eyes and shiny blue hair was Thong Tu Ding, the young lady of the merchant team. The driver next to her urgently said, Miss, we can't accelerate anymore. In 5 minutes, they'll catch up to us. Reinforcements can't arrive in time for Miss Thong Tu Din's safety. The man decisively spoke into the radio. Everyone execute the self-sacrifice plan. Thuong Tu Din cried, trying to stop them. Turn back. Please don't. But the bodyguards firmly replied, Miss, our mission is to protect you. No one abandons a vehicle. Behind them, many cars bravely faced the tornado. The commander shouted to the merchant bodyguards, 3, 2, 1. They immediately opened fire. Bullets flew toward the tornado, explosions roared, smoke and dust filled the air, but the tornado remained impenetrable. Eventually, the bodyguards were swept away, shouting in despair. Thung Tuding sat in the car, painfully blaming herself. Damn it, it's all my fault. The driver comforted her. Protecting you was their honor. You don't need to blame yourself. Suddenly, a loud noise rang out, and Thuong Tu Din, startled, and asked, What's that sound? From afar, powerful attacks rushed straight into the tornado. Han Qian stood proudly on the car, using the power of the divine reflection combined with the Phuk He lute, transformed by Ha Yu Vai. He unleashed damaging harmonics that sliced each death-gray fly in half. The insect's pitiful cries echoed, black blood splattered everywhere. Thuong Tu Ding was stunned by the scene, leaning her head out of the car to watch intently. Han Qian's car sped after her convoy. The insect tornado behind had now dissipated. Han Qian continued focusing on playing the Fuck Hai lute, transformed by Ha Yu Vai, unleashing sharp tones to eliminate the remaining insects. Shang Ziding marveled in astonishment. Oh my god, someone actually managed to break the storm. Since when did such a character appear recently? Suddenly, a small whirlwind blocked the front of Han Zhan's vehicle. Yifan reacted quickly, rushing out to shield him, shouting sharply, making Han Zhan startled, careful. But immediately after, sharp spikes from the insect tribe pierced straight into Yifan's chest. He fell off the vehicle, blood spurting from his mouth. Strangely, Yifan showed no pain. Instead, he gleefully shouted, "Ha, this feels great." Han Zhan worriedly reminded these spikes are poisonous. If they aren't pulled out in time, just a few dozen seconds will take his life. You quickly helped Yifan pull out each spike. When the spikes were removed, Han Zhan's system displayed information. Yifan is an SS-level talent with the immortal divine trait. Han Zhan pondered silently, unexpectedly. He's an SS-level talent? What does immortal mean? Rapid recovery or eternal indestructibility? Yivan sat up, leisurely, smiling teasingly. You're definitely guessing what my SS-level immortal talent is, right? Beg me, I'll tell you. Han Zhan turned his face away coldly, responding curtly, not interested. Yivan smirked, not very timely at all. Suddenly, a sharp hissing sound like a tire puncture came from the speeding vehicle, startling the whole team. Han Zhan suddenly sneezed, feeling strange, muttering he wasn't sick. Could it be someone missing him? He looked up ahead and said to Yifan, "Looks like we've arrived at the mission location." Yivan heard this, raised his head, and snorted lightly. In front of them, a huge swarm of insect tribe members gathered densely, seemingly ambushed and ready to attack another insect tribe. Each one covered with tough scales, sharp claws, glittering, their red eyes blazing as if ready to devour their enemies. Ha Yuvi witnessed the scene and suddenly itched all over her face, pale. Han Zhan stood beside her, smiling with delight, saying, "Yuvi, let's get started. This place is full of them." The next moment, the insect tribe swarm charged forward simultaneously. Han Zhan seriously played recovery tunes, the sounds reverberating like a tsunami throughout the area. In just moments, the insect tribe screamed miserably, torn apart by the sharp melodies falling one by one to the ground. One strike. Miao Sat. Yifan was stunned, suspiciously asking again. Miao Sat Bai Shuang is driving the vehicle ahead, silently admiring. So strong, this man always renews my perception. A series of system notifications rang out. Mission 1, completed. Mission 2, completed. Mission 3, completed. Mission 5, completed. At a monitoring center in Shanghai City, everyone marveled at the system's screen eyes, wide mouths agape, discussing excitedly. Since when did Shanghai City have this team so strong, subtracting travel time an average of over 10 seconds per mission? This is Nwaksat. Someone else interjected. Surely it's not Ling Ke-su, the fighter of Tien Tuyet Kui, playing tricks on us. Suddenly someone holding a device looked up attentively, saying, "Squad 0527 Shen Lam City." He angrily slammed the device on the ground, growling, "Squad of city guardians from Shen Lam dares to run over and take missions from our Shanghai City. Are they slapping our faces?" He immediately ordered Squad 1 to assemble. "Yes, follow me to steal the missions I have to teach them a lesson." The members responded in unison, "Yes." After a while, Squad 1's captain led his team, declaring loudly, "Unexpectedly, Shanghai City has gathered so many Guardian squads. It seems none accept that tyrant mission." Behind them, other squads hurriedly advanced forward. Squad 1 members excitedly interjected, "If we unite, we'll definitely snatch the mission to handle Ma Vi Sha so that the tyrant mission from Shen Lam knows our strength." Suddenly, someone pointed straight ahead. Face panicked, danger. Everyone looked ahead. In front of them lay a giant insect tribe member, motionless, its body ripped into hundreds of pieces, black blood splattered everywhere. The captain, witnessing this, grew even more furious, grinding his teeth. Hateful tyrant mission, bullying people excessively. He scowled, turning to order Chow A turn the vehicle around to find the tyrant mission. "I must demand justice." Chow A quickly drove in response. "Yes, Captain." But at that moment, another member grabbed the captain's hand tightly, anxiously advising, "Captain, don't." However, the captain angrily waved his hand. "No, let go, don't stop me. They seem to be leaving Thuong Hai City after completing this mission." A squad member hurriedly reported, "Someone saw their distinctive black pickup truck just leaving the city." The captain heard the news and was so angry he looked like he might burst a blood vessel, roaring and causing the whole team to anxiously gather around. "Captain, what's wrong?" At the same time at headquarters, the third commanding guard. Min Hien closely watched the screen before him, his eyebrows furrowed in puzzlement. Why has the mission completion rate in the areas of Tamlam City, Thuong Hai, and nearby regions suddenly skyrocketed like this? Did something special happen? A manager rushed in to report. Commander, recently a ruthless task force appeared in Tamlam City, specializing in stealing missions from other cities. Yes, that's what caused this chain reaction. Min Hien's eyes flashed as he ordered, "Go get the files of that squad for me to review." The manager bowed, yes. Min Hien silently thought, "Ruthless task force, let me see what kind of legends they are." Time passed quickly. A hot cup of tea still steaming on the table, the manager returned with the files for Min Hien. The commander took them, waved his hand. You may step back now." The manager responded, "Yes, Commander." Very quickly, the files of Deech Pham and Hong Wan Vi from Squad 0527 were placed before Min Hien. He flipped through them, stunned and unable to hold back an exclamation. "Both files are top secret. How is this possible?" He took a deep breath, turned to the next file, thinking, 3 times already, the last file probably isn't top secret. But when he saw Han Qian's file was still top secret, he was shocked and muttered, "Impossible, was the file written wrong?" While Min Hien was deep in puzzlement and doubt, a sudden call startled him, and he hurriedly answered, "Hello, this is Min Hien." The voice on the other end replied, "Captain Tu, I am Lam Kin Huyen." Hearing that name, Min Hien's eyes widened in surprise, thinking, "Lam Kin Huyen, the elder in charge of Combat Zone 2. Why is he calling me?" He immediately spoke a greeting. "Commander, may I ask what orders you have?" Lam Kin Huyen's calm, steady voice replied, "No need to investigate the files in your hands anymore. They exceed your access authority." Min Hien quickly nodded, "Yes, yes." After the call, he broke out in a cold sweat, thinking, "Very unusual. Who exactly is Han Qian that even Lam Kin Huyen from Combat Zone 2 is alarmed enough to call?" Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Han Qian faced the giant insect tribe creature alone. It roared, its sharp teeth gleaming with destructive power. Han Qian didn't flinch at all, launching his moves, dust and smoke billowing everywhere. The insect's body quickly shattered under his blows, screaming in pain. Taking advantage of the moment, Han Qian lunged forward coldly, delivering a strike that shattered the monster into hundreds of pieces, the dust gradually clearing. The fierce battle ended. Han Qian looked at the motionless insect corpse calmly and said, "Mission 18 completed. Bok Sung, check how many points we have now." Bok Sung took out of the device immediately to check her eyes, revealing surprise. Dick Pham, beside her, happily raised a bottle of wine, laughing with extreme joy. "Ha ha, refreshing." After checking the device, Bok Shuang looked up and reported to the captain, "Our total points earned are 1,800. But she hesitated. "But..." Han Qian frowned. "But what?" Bok Sung sighed. "The ranking is still last place." Hearing this, Deech Pham's face darkened, cold sweat breaking out. "Unbelievable, how could that be? Could someone have completed the mission faster than us?" Bok Sung gritted her teeth in frustration. "Damn it! It's definitely Zhao Hu causing trouble again. Let me see." After checking, Han Qian's expression grew serious and thoughtful. "Second from the bottom is 300 points, just a bit more than us, but strangely more than 10 squads from the bottom all have exactly 300 points." Bok Sung interrupted doubtfully. "More than 10 squads tied with the same rank, but they can't all be SSS-level prodigies to fight Infinite Insect Tribe dungeons. Maybe this is a control point, so all teams that defeat each other share the same score. After completing the mission, points are distributed to one person who completes it together, so it doesn't violate the Guardian organization's rules." "Yes, according to the analysis." Bok Shuang couldn't hide her anger and scolded, "Damn it, we are always targeted." Han Qian showed no emotion, calmly reassuring, "Don't worry too much, the scores are very close, there's still a chance. Take me back to Tamlam City." The whole team replied together, "Yes." Today, returning home, Li Thudong, Han Qian, and Ha Yu Vai walked in. He cheerfully said, "Teacher, we're back." Li Thudong was leisurely sipping tea and smiled when he saw them. "You're back. How was the haul this trip?" Han Qian sat down with a sigh. "We got something, but the results weren't very good." He continued, "Today on the way, we rescued a merchant convoy, so that's doing some good." Li Thudong laughed happily. "Oh, the young lady from the Thong family got saved by you. Turns out she's not someone who understands romance." He was referring to his niece. Laughing loudly, "No wonder she clung to me a few days ago, asking how to become a strong Kaylin." Hearing that, Han Qian was curious. "Teacher, you know Thuong Ti Din." Li Thudong smiled lightly and replied, I'm close friends with her grandfather. The Thuong family is one of the 5 major clans behind merchant technology, specializing in advanced weapons research for non-Keylin users and civilians. In my eyes, Thuong Tai Ding is like my own granddaughter. Han Qian was surprised and exclaimed, "So her identity isn't as simple as it seems." Li Thudong continued. The Thuong family deliberately lured her into dangerous situations to teach her there's no easy retreat, but you ended up ruining that. Han Qian scratched his head awkwardly, so I turned a good deed into a bad one. Li Thudong laughed heartily, took out a large box and placed it on the table. It's okay. The merchant escort team just gave me this, but I actually prepared it for you. Han Qian asked curiously, what is it? Inside the box were 2 bottles of medicine, 1 green and 1 purple. Li Thudong introduced breakthrough medicine. Han Qian looked intently at the 2 bottles, his expression serious. I've heard this medicine can enhance strength, reaction speed, defense, even talent. I wonder if it's true. Li Thudong urged, stop standing there dazed, take 1 bottle each and drink it. Han Qian and Ha Yu Vi smiled happily and thanked the teacher, both slowly taking their bottles and drinking. Before long, the system announced a surge of energy rolled through Han Qian's body, making him exhilarated and exclaim, breakthrough to level 2 Spirit Keylin. Master, this medicine is so powerful. On the other side, Ha Yu Vi was also upgraded. The system announced, Ha Yu Vi Spirit Keylin level SSS power level 2, illusion form of ancient divine weapon suit, divine spirit sword suit, mind control, celestial art. Reading the system information about Ha Yu Vi, Han Qian couldn't help but be surprised and looked at her closely. After Yu Vi's breakthrough, a new divine spirit appeared in the celestial art. Suddenly, a new strange power surged around Han Qian as if the celestial will materialized into celestial phenomena of 4 symbols: wind, fire, double lightning. The system announced mind control unlocked, spring wild transformation, green ding, thunder lightning. Dust and smoke flew everywhere, signaling both had successfully leveled up. Han Qian and Ha Yu Vi were exhausted, panting heavily. Han Qian reached out to feel his new power and said, this breakthrough medicine is amazing. I not only leveled up, but gained many more mind skills. When Yu Vi gained the new divine spirit, Ha Yu Vi, sweating and panting, exclaimed, so unexpected the power in my body surged drastically. Li Thudong was happy and nodded. Very good, your performance didn't disappoint me. Suddenly Han Qian's phone vibrated. He answered, hello? Bok Sung's voice was urgent. Captain, quickly check the mission board. A new mission has been updated in Tamlam City. The phone screen showed a warning. Level 3 Duqua ghost of the Zhong tribe appeared near Tamlam City. Arrange personnel to eliminate it. Mission points 1,000 points. Recommended unlimited number of people. After reading, Han Qian wondered a level 3 Duqua ghost. A comprehensive Duqua ghost, not inferior to 3 level 2 Spirit Keylin Masters. Should we accept this mission? He turned to the team decisively. Gather at Teha Road. We'll talk later. Han Qian hurriedly took Ha Yu Vi's hand and rushed off. Yu Vi new mission. Let's go. Li Thudong was left behind, muttering, at this rate I really am an old lonely man. Duqua ghost, oh Duqua ghost. In these chaotic times. While pondering, the butler slowly walked in and said, the master has found Miss Lin Chan, but she refuses to return. Meeting Li Thudong and asked where she was, the butler replied, Thuonghai City. Meanwhile, on Teha Road, Bok Sung and Dich Pham waited and saw Han Qian. Bok Sung seriously asked the captain, have you made up your mind? Are we going or not? Han Qian confidently replied, why wouldn't we go? This is a great chance to turn the score around. Bok Sung, still worried, quickly explained. But the danger level of the Duqua Jia is too high. Even if it's just a juvenile, we might not be able to win. Han Qian calmly, without any agitation, asked back Bok Shuang, do you know what that alarm means? She was confused. What? He looked at the bustling crowd ahead and calmly said, it means if we don't eliminate the Duqua Jia once it matures, the whole city will be destroyed. He paused, his tone low but full of spirit. A city defense squad like us fights not for points, but for humanity. Hearing this, Dich Pham smiled brightly in approval and raised his bottle. Captain, you're truly great. Let's drink up. Bok Sung seemed enlightened and regained her spirit decisively, turning around. Got it. I'll go get the vehicles to take everyone to the mission point. Elsewhere, the space was engulfed in thick darkness, terrifying lightning continuously striking the sky covered by a pitch-black veil. Thunder and lightning from those dark clouds spread outward, creating a chilling scene. On a tall building, the group witnessing this scene was bustling with discussion. That is the innate ability of the Duqua Jia Hak Chuang. Hakchuang can isolate all senses, disconnecting from the outside world, creating its own separate realm. Whether living or non-living, anything covered by it will accelerate aging decay and eventually perish. Hearing this, a pink-haired young man standing behind couldn't hide his worry and asked, "The upper-level captain told us to deal with the Duquajia, so why announce the mission publicly? Is it because they don't trust us?" The captain smiled, observing the Duquajia through binoculars. "It has strong combat power, requiring many sacrifices to draw firepower." The crowd widened their eyes and exclaimed in unison, "Oh, so that's how it is?" The captain lowered the binoculars with interest. "Don't rush into action. Wait for the SHIELD team to take the lead first." He noticed a black car entering the area. Inside the car were Han Qian and his group. Han Qian watched attentively, his voice low, reminding, "This is the Hakchuang, created by the Duquajia. Everyone be careful." Bok Sung stepped down from the car and seriously asked, "Is everyone ready? Once we go in, there's no turning back." Ditch Fam laughed confidently. "This is nothing to me, don't worry. It'll be fine." The whole group stepped into the lightning-filled area. Inside was a gloomy, cold scene. Thick fog covered everywhere. Spiderwebs clung to the abandoned buildings. Han Qian led the way, his sharp gaze sensing the strong aura of the species inside. Everyone heightened their vigilance. "I feel like we're being watched." Hot UV trembled, hugging herself worriedly. "It feels like invisible eyes are stalking us." The group continued deeper inside. Suddenly, Ha UV panicked and grabbed Han Qian's arm, exclaiming, "Did you hear that?" No strange sound. Sure enough, spider threads silently crawled toward them. Bok Suong's eyes were cold and alert as she spoke. "Hakchuang has the life energy stealing ability. As long as we are inside, our energy will be continuously drained until death." Dick Pham, now unusually serious, added, "According to the documents, we only have half an hour. If we don't destroy the Hakchuang from within, we will all become food for the Duquajia." Bok Sung suddenly pointed ahead urgently. "You mean that black orb?" The whole group turned their heads simultaneously to look in that direction. A giant black orb hovered in midair, shrouded in dense smoke, with strange swirling patterns inside. Dick Pham nodded in confirmation. "Yes, that's it," Han Qian observed carefully, innocently asked, "We just need to break it, right?" He stepped forward, but before understanding what was happening, the ground suddenly softened as if wanting to swallow the whole group. Everyone was stunned and panicked. Bok Shuang struggled to break free, but was powerless painfully, exclaiming, "Not good. Ditch." Pham quickly grabbed her hand tightly, pulling hard. "Be careful," but he couldn't hold on long against the terrifying pull of the ground. Seeing this, Han Qian rushed over, shouting, "I'm coming." But in the next second, a solid wall suddenly rose up from the ground, separating the three of them. Han Qian immediately spoke in a calm, deep voice. "This is the second talent bestowed upon life by the Fruit Master." Bok Shuang was surprised. "What do you mean by bestowed upon life?" Han Qian explained, "Life can be taken away, but it can also be given. Not only humans, but weapons, tools, even a piece of land can be granted life." Hearing this, Ha Yuvi quickly transformed into a musical instrument and seriously said to Han Qian, "Then let's break it." Han Qian, full of fighting spirit, clenched the instrument and roared, "All right, let's fight." He launched a powerful strike aimed straight at the solid wall. Explosions rang out continuously, the wall slowly cracking, but something strange happened. Soon it healed itself as if it had never been damaged. Han Qian was stunned, murmuring, "The regeneration ability is too strong, completely unbreakable." Suddenly, a loud noise came from somewhere unknown. Numerous other walls rose up, blocking every path, surrounding Han Qian and his teammates tightly. He sensed the danger and shouted loudly, "This is bad. The Fruit Master wants to trap us here in this suffocating space." A flash of light appeared. Immediately after, a giant insect appeared behind them, making a crackling sound that was ear-piercing. Han Qian seemed unaware, but Ha Yuvi was startled and shouted, "Watch out!" Thanks to quick reflexes, Han Qian dodged the attack, causing the insect to lose its direction. But strangely, it easily crawled through the solid wall. Ha Yuvi and Han Qian stared in amazement. "Did I see that right? What is that thing?" Ha Yuvi exclaimed without thinking further. Both turned and ran. "Save your lives! Move quickly!" The giant blue insect with tough skin and bizarre red eyes stayed close behind. Ahead, the captain of another group observed and said in a low voice, "It seems there are no more decoys coming in. Everyone stay alert." The members confidently responded in unison, "Don't worry. Captain, we are all level 3 spirit contract masters, and a level 3 spirit contract definitely completes the mission." Another spoke up. Even if things go wrong, we can retreat safely. Suddenly, the ground shook violently, causing the group to panic. Something shot up from the ground, dust and smoke billowing. The group screamed in fear. The man wearing glasses covered his face with his hand and shouted, "Everyone be careful!" As the dust cleared, the members rushed over and anxiously asked the captain, "Are you okay?" The man with glasses patted his shoulder and called out. But when the captain turned back, his pupils contracted and his mouth opened wide in extreme horror. Suddenly, the captain grabbed the member's neck tightly, causing him to scream, "Captain, what are you doing?" The captain was startled and froze. On his forehead was a beetle with red eyes clinging tightly. The creature lunged straight into the other member's eyes, throwing the group into panic. Elsewhere, Bok Shuang, just saved by Dich Pham, gratefully said, "Thank you. The Fruit Master wants to defeat each of us. How interesting." She curiously looked at Dich Pham. "Can't you sense those invisible threads?" Dich Pham shrugged. "I can sense them, but what can I do here?" Bok Shuang admired and added, "I really admire your talent. No need to worry about life." Dich Pham laughed sarcastically. "Admiring death isn't a punishment, isn't? Now we can't get out, might as well give up." Bok Shuang seriously objected. "Who says we can't get out?" She raised her hand to touch the wall. A brilliant light radiated. "Wake up! You are just lifeless blocks of earth." Her technique took effect. The solid wall developed countless cracks. Not long after, with a loud crash, the wall shattered completely, opening an escape route. Dich Pham witnessed the scene with his mouth agape in amazement. Wow, that actually worked. In the thick smoke, a faint figure appeared. Bok Shuang stepped forward, her voice confused. The rocky ground where Han Qian stood suddenly collapsed. She shouted loudly, "Captain, watch out!" Han Qian, nimble and quick, jumped backward and landed softly on the ground. He approached Dich Pham and Bok Shuang, smiling. "Bok Shuang, so everyone is here just in time." While the group was talking, a giant fist suddenly appeared from behind Bok Shuang. She shouted, "I just used my talent to break the maze, but I still can't get far." Han Qian immediately warned Bok Shuang and Dich Pham, "Careful behind you." Both turned around, but the giant fist was already right in front of their faces. At that moment, a powerful surge of energy exploded, stopping the attack. Han Qian stood blocking the two, his whole body radiating a blazing golden energy flame. "Move aside quickly," he shouted loudly. The giant stone golem appeared fiercely, advancing ahead. Bok Sung exclaimed worriedly, "This is bad." Han Qian drew out his instrument, his aura soaring, strong winds rising. The giant stone golem charged at the small group and slammed a punch, flinging Dich Pham and Bok Shuang far away. The shockwave from the strike was so powerful that both were seriously injured and collapsed. Han Qian still stood firm, facing the stone golem. He calmly analyzed, "These monsters were all summoned by Dukwajia. We must quickly destroy their true form." He looked up at the mysterious black orb floating in the distance. It released a dark shadow of its true form, merging into the shadow world, leaving only this black orb. He continued decisively, "My judgment is that if we shatter this orb, we can destroy Dukwajia." Despite her injuries, Bok Shuang responded, "Don't worry, we will support you." The giant stone golem charged fiercely again. At that moment, Dich Pham leapt high, a burst of power erupting. He shouted loudly, "Grant me immortality!" Dich Pham used his body to block the golem's attack, then turned to Han Qian. "Captain, my immortality can only withstand 6 hits. Think fast." Han Qian didn't hesitate and dashed straight toward the black orb. "Come on, I'll cut down the true form." He gathered all his strength to activate the Luk Din Thin Thun V De So technique, using the instrument to summon the Di Kung Ku Shu Ku piece. Thunder roared and lightning struck summoning bolts from the thunder gods to destroy everything around. Dich Pham was knocked back by the aftershock and fell down. The lightning continued relentlessly until finally destroying the black orb. Dich Pham landed joyfully, looking up. "We won!" But Han Qian's body was covered in wounds. He shouted a warning to Dich Pham, "Run now!" Suddenly a figure appeared, shouting in a hoarse voice, "No one gets away!" Dich Pham was stunned. Dukwajia has matured. From afar, Bok Shuang laughed loudly with crazed eyes. "This is the unexpected joy I bring to you all." She stepped forward and tightly grabbed Dukwajie's arm. "I used a disguised lie to lead it here and waited for the chance to release it to finish you off." Han Qian, covered in wounds, slowly stood up and asked Bok Shuang in a low voice, "Why did you do this?" She cried and laughed at the same time, her eyes flashing a sinister light. "Why, ha, I want to kill all of you!" Dich Pham and Han Qian immediately focused. "Ha, I want to kill all of you!" Ditchfam and Han Qian immediately focused. Han Qian frowned. What is that? The second time, absolutely no mistake. Ditchfam asked, The second time what? What do you know? Han Qian looked coldly straight into Bok Shuang's eyes. She's been parasitized. Ditchfam was shocked. Parasitized? Han Qian nodded. Inside her eyes was the shadow of a dull silver-white worm burrowing. In legend, a level 4 worm species with terrifying talent can seize and completely control the parasitized creature. Not only that, it also reproduces asexually and divides. He spoke solemnly. In Lam Tin's history, a level 7 master was once invaded by it, massacring the entire city he protected. Suffering and death were everywhere. The organization had to invest great effort to surround and kill it, suffering heavy losses. He frowned, looking at Bok Shuang. This species was eradicated completely by the first battle zone 32 years ago, so why is it appearing here? A Ditchfam stepped forward to block Han Qian. Captain, you go ahead. I'll use my immortal talent to cover you. Han Qian shook his head and sat down, his hand gliding over the instrument, playing a healing piece. We can't leave. The black banner of the mature Duqua Jia has absorbed the recently dead offspring and expanded tenfold at this speed. We won't reach the boundary before it catches and kills us. He closed his eyes to focus on healing. Ditchfam, you buy me time for about 1 song so I can recover. Han Qian's body gradually healed. Bok Sung, or rather the parasitic worm inside her, became frantic, shouting, This is bad, stop him quickly! The mature Duqua Jia launched a powerful attack aimed directly at Han Qian, but Ditchfam immediately stood in front shouting, Watch out! He used his body to block the strike, his immortal body enduring the tremendous power. Bok Sung, with a demonic gaze, stepped forward using the power of lies. Your immortal body is fake. You're not immortal at all. Ditchfam coldly struck her head hard, causing her pain. Fake or real isn't for you to decide. Immediately, the burrowing worm escaped from Bok Shuang's body and rushed toward Ditchfam, intending to invade. He roared, I won't be controlled. With quick reflexes, Ditchfam grabbed it. You bastard, come here. Using his last immortal move, he crushed the bug in his hand. The mature Duqua Jia stood at a distance, observing with a cold smile. Interesting, let's see how long you can hold out. It unleashed a powerful energy blast straight at Ditchfam. Ditchfam gritted his teeth, using all his strength to block it, then turned to ask Han Qian, How much longer? Han Qian had nearly fully recovered, raised his hand with a steady voice. UV Ditchfam, you two handle the burrowing bugs. Let me use the mature false fruit. He stood up, his aura exploding, activating the 8 Qi Fist's first Qi all over his body. Han Qian radiated brilliant energy, darting skyward straight at the hovering Duqua Jia. I didn't expect you to force me to go all out and die. Han Qian launched an attack, a burst of radiant light exploding straight at the mature Duqua Jia. But it was unfazed, just smirking as it drew a sharp sword from its throat. Humanity is young, yet has such fighting power. You surprised me, but let's see how many moves you can take. A sharp sword slash came down. Han Qian calmly raised a hand to block shattering the attack into pieces. Duqua Jia widened its eyes in shock. How did this glove get into your hand? Over 10 years ago, it killed one of our Khan kings. It belonged to the strong, but you do not. Han Qian concentrated strength in his hands, voice cold. I'm not the strong one, but you're no Khan king. The aftershock from the collision rippled, shaking the entire room. The two charged at each other, unleashing wild attacks. The 3 Duqua Jias sneered. The one who gave you that glove, your relationship with the strong one isn't simple. Killing you will surely bring him pain, and that excites me. Han Qian stabbed the Duqua Jia with the glove. It immediately counterattacked, its sword piercing deep into his body. Both sprang back to maintain distance. Han Qian thought to himself, Damn it, I have to defeat it before it absorbs all the energy from the immature Duqua Jia, or I won't have another chance. He closed his eyes, absorbing power, sensing the fine line between life and death. There's only one chance, one life. This is the tension between living and dying. Why does he roar and unleash the second Qi fist? The Qi radiates the huge Qi opening. It can't last any longer. Han Qian charged forward with burning eyes, getting close to the Duqua Jia and delivering a powerful punch that sent it flying, its body shattering. Ditchfam from afar looked up and shouted, Finish him off, you lost! But Duqua Jia smiled wickedly. No, you're the one who lost. Han Qian was stunned, speechless, as before his eyes the Duqua Jia's body gradually regenerated piece by piece as if never destroyed. Duqua Jia completed its regeneration, restoring all its power, soaring high and roaring, "Kid, it's all over." Ditch Pham hurried over to inform Han Qian, who was stunned. "Captain, I don't see Bok Shuang anywhere." "What?" Before Han Qian could react, chains appeared from nowhere, binding the whole group tightly. He shouted loudly, "This is bad. Duqua Jia is gathering the source of power. No one can leave here." Duqua Jia threw a blazing black orb down, yelling, "Everyone must die." Ditch Pham immediately rushed out to block with his body. "Growl, Captain, everyone get out of here." But his immortality gauge was already depleted. His body trembled in pain. Han Qian frowned, looking at the situation. "We're doomed." Ditch Pham was about to collapse. Without hesitation, he activated the sixth move of the back chi fist, the Kan Chi opening. A gigantic hand appeared, rushing straight at the Duqua Jia. It was shocked. So this is that move. The powerful punch struck the Duqua Jia, causing it to vanish instantly. But the move also dissipated, leaving a silent space. Han Qian and everyone were stunned. What's going on? Suddenly, a figure appeared. Li Thudong smiled smugly. "Glad I arrived in time." Han Qian's eyes widened, but before he could say anything, his exhausted body fell. Ha Yu-Vi and Ditch Pham hurried to support the captain. Li Thudong landed and instructed, "Take Lao Ku back first. There's still cleanup to do here." Ditch Pham asked curiously, "Cleanup?" Just then a bug suddenly darted away and disappeared quickly. At the hospital, Han Qian jolted awake and shouted, "Be careful!" Ha Yu-Vi was overjoyed. "Han Qian, you're finally awake. This is the hospital. After you fainted, Master Lai started sweeping through the burrowing bugs but couldn't find any samples, so he couldn't completely eliminate them yet. We brought you here for treatment first." Han Qian frowned worriedly and asked Ditch Pham, "What about him? Is he okay?" Ha Yu-Vi sighed. "Ditch Pham is in the special care room. When the meteor pressed down, he gave it his all to resist. His bones and meridians shattered all over his body. If not for his immortal talent, he would probably have died. Still, he was severely injured. Fortunately, his talent is healing the wounds itself." Suddenly, a nurse rushed in. "Are you colleagues of Ditch Pham? Have you seen him anywhere?" Han Qian and Ha Yu-Vi froze. "What happened to Ditch Pham?" the nurse said in a panic. "He's missing." Ha Yu-Vi jumped up, eyes bright. "Missing. I just remembered. Teacher Lee told us we have to find the Trung Duc Quet ourselves. Bok Sung's disappearance is definitely related to that parasite. Ditch Pham must have gone to look for Bok Sung and the Trung Duc Quet." Han Qian stepped down from the bed, eyes sharp. Bok Sung is a breakthrough level 4 Trung Duc Quet capable of asexual reproduction and splitting, but as long as the queen parasite is killed, all others will be destroyed. He activated his wrist device in a low voice. Most likely Ditch Pham guessed something and went to investigate alone. Ha Yu-Vi continued, making Han Qian pause. "There's more. The Guardian organization deducted 100 points from our 0527 squad's accumulated score." "What?" Han Qian gritted his teeth. "Because Teacher Lee completed the mission, the other squads were considered failures and lost points. We risked our lives on the battlefield, yet the rear uses dirty tricks to target us." Ha Yu-Vi nodded indignantly. "They didn't just deduct points, they also took all the fake Duqua corpses. All materials were transferred to the Guardian organization's building." Han Qian frowned. "Didn't Teacher Lee say anything?" Ha Yu-Vi replied, "Teacher said this is a private matter between us and the organization. Others won't interfere." Han Qian sneered coldly. "Won't interfere? Clearly he's tacitly signaling us to take responsibility." He grabbed Ha Yu-Vi's hand decisively. "My wounds aren't healed yet, but we have to get back what's ours." Ha Yu-Vi was surprised. The captain summoned level 4 Trung materials and divided them among all squads. "Aren't they working for you?" Han Qian snorted coldly, controlling the accumulated points to see if they dared. He kicked open the door and shouted loudly, startling everyone, "Tru Ho, get out here now!" "Captain Han, why did you two come here without notifying us?" Tru Ho laughed mockingly. "Did you sniff gunpowder? Watch your words." He approached Han Qian. "This isn't a place for you to act rebellious." But immediately, Han Qian threw a punch, knocking Tru Ho face first to the ground. He was cold and fierce. "Has anyone ever told you your smile is irritating? Just one round and you're already down on the floor." Tru Ho growled viciously, full of killing intent. "Fine, I'm recording this and will send it up so they see Han Qian breaking the rules." He drew a knife and rushed forward. "Damn it, I'll kill you!" Han Qian quickly grabbed Triu Ho's arm, slammed him down, and rolled him around on the ground. Still daring to rush headfirst into death. Just then a voice rang out, stopping Han Qian. Enough! Triu Ho, bruised, stepped out shouting. So what exactly do you want? Han Qian coldly. I want you to apologize to me and my team members. Triu Ho sneered arrogantly and turned to his subordinate Tu Trung. Have you sent the video to headquarters yet? Tu Trung replied. Sent it. Delivered to To Min Heen and the supervision team. Triu Ho was smug. That kid's got it coming. When headquarters sees you beating someone, they'll definitely punish you severely. Han Qian smirked at Ha Yu Vi. A little scared, Ha Yu Vi smiled. Don't worry. With Teacher Li backing you, they won't dare do anything to you. All right. Tu Trung timidly. Headquarters replied already. Triu Ho guarded the gate. How? Tu Trung stammered. Headquarters said this is an internal matter of the Guardian organization in Thum Lam City. Told you to handle it yourself. Triu Ho was stunned. What? What about the supervision team from the major war zones? Tu Trung answered. The supervision team said this young man who beat someone is skilled. They asked if he's interested in joining their team. Triu Ho was shaking with anger, slammed his earpiece on the ground. What kind of bureaucratic nonsense is this? Han Qian stepped forward with a cold voice. Have you decided how to apologize? What exactly do you want me to apologize for so this nonsense stops? Han Qian coldly. It's simple. The fake Duquois materials that our 0527 squad worked hard to kill outside the city are said to have been embezzled by you. I want to open the Guardian organization's treasure so I can represent the squad to choose until satisfied. Zhao Hu was stunned. The organization's treasure holds nothing but valuable and expensive relics. This absolutely cannot be allowed. Han Zhan smirked. Even if I carry both hands full alone, how much can I take? If you can't even meet this request, I seriously doubt your sincerity. Zhao Hu hesitated, but finally nodded in agreement. Only you go in. When you come out, your hands must be empty, and you're not allowed to hide items elsewhere. Han Zhen put Zhou Hu down, frowned, and looked at the ring on his hand. Smiled and said, Let's seal it then. This is the treasure vault of the Guardian organization in Shenlin City. Little Zhang worried, Captain Zhao, is it really okay to send that guy in? Won't there be any problems? The vault has tens of thousands of items, many kinds. Even I can't recognize them all. He's just a student fresh out of Qingdeng Academy. He'll probably be flustered and not know what to do. Zhou Hu smiled confidently, even if he recognized all the treasures. How much can he carry with just 2 hands? Thinking he's surely won. Yes. Little Zhang nodded repeatedly. Captain Zhao makes sense in the vault. Han Zhan held the book of treasures. So many amazing items. Luckily, I brought the notebook senior brother gave me. Otherwise, I wouldn't recognize anything. He skimmed through and found the 3rd-level winged bug overseer of the insect tribe, the 5th-level ghost moth herbs like eternal Donghua lotus seed, and so on. Suddenly, he noticed an item on the wall. A level 6 beach gyai corpse. Using it as material, you can craft a set of defensive equipment. Han Zhan clenched his fist and laughed loudly. They're all great stuff. He raised the ring and absorbed all the treasures inside. Laughing out loud, I want them all. After an hour, Zhao Hu grew anxious. It's been an hour and he still hasn't come out. Han Zhan stepped out. The eyes of the senior brothers all fixed on him. Zhao Hu, captain of the Shenlin City defense team, immediately spoke upon seeing him. He's out. Ha Yu Vi softly asked Han Zhan, What did you get from the vault? He smiled, took her hand. Let's go home. I'll tell you then. They left, leaving little Zhang dumbfounded, wondering why he didn't bring anything out. Little Zhang turned to Zhao Hu. Let me call the management staff. Zhao Hu picked up the phone, voice urgent. Hello? Han Zhan took so long. How many items did he take? The other end replied, 5 items. Zhao Hu frowned. 5 items is a bit much, but luckily it's just 5. Sooner or later he'll have to pay both principal and interest. But the manager quickly corrected, not 5 items, 5 portions. He cleared out half of the vault. Zhao Hu was stunned and shouted. What half the vault was robbed clean? That guy's crazy. How dare he take 5 portions? That's ruthless. He trembled, thinking the vault is the Guardian organization's property. Taking 1 or 2 items might be concealed, but half the vault. The organization won't let that slide. Then Zhao Hu turned to Little Zhang and snarled, Little Wang, report everything immediately to headquarters. Little Zhang replied, Captain already reported it. Headquarters only responded with 5 words, if it can be reconciled, then okay. Zhao Hu was speechless and stunned. At Han Zhan's home, he placed the ring containing the items on the table. A smirk lifted his lips. This time he'd teach Zhao Hu a lesson. Let's see if he dares to be arrogant next time. Ha-U-V, wrapped in a towel, stepped out, making Han-Jan blush and awkwardly turn away. He stammered, "Ha-U-Vi, it's late, go to sleep." She looked at him surprised. "Sleep together? Last time you were hurt, I was so worried, afraid of losing you." Before he could react, she lunged forward and hugged him tightly. "No matter what happens today, I won't let you off." Suddenly, the door burst open, and a girl appeared, yawning repeatedly. The three were stunned, looking at each other in awkward silence. Ha-U-V pulled away from Han-Jan, flustered. "Since when did you have someone else in your house?" Han-Jan, equally surprised, asked, "Girl, who are you?" The girl frowned. "You are in my house but don't even know who I am." Han-Chien pondered, then suddenly startled. "You are Professor Lai Lin-chan's daughter." She nodded confidently. "That's right, I am Lai Lin-chan." "You are Han-Chien, right? I've heard about you." "I am an E-level contract spirit illusionary transformation form, the Nongding, one of the 10 ancient divine weapons." Han-Chien hurriedly covered his eyes, embarrassed. "Isn't that wearing nothing? Is that really okay?" Lai Lin-chun laughed, naturally. "This is my most comfortable state at home. Dad helps me find inspiration for creation." Ha-U-Vi wondered. "Creation?" Lai Lin-chan nodded proudly. "That's right, Grandpa, not to mention I'm the author of a best-selling online book." She stepped close to Ha-U-Vi with a mysterious smile. "I just disturbed you two. Do you want to continue?" Seeing them both embarrassed, her eyes sparkled as she grabbed Ha-U-Vi's shoulder. "If not continuing, then let's create together." Ha-U-Vi quickly stopped, her voice urgent. "Wait. You just met for the first time and have no feelings. How can you be so quick?" Li Lin-chan asked in surprise. "Why would you need feelings to sign a contract? It's just signing a contract." Ha-U-Vi's eyes widened. "Just signing a contract?" Lai Lin-chan nodded. "What else would it be?" Ha-U-Vi blushed, realizing her misunderstanding, embarrassed. "Ah, your E-level talent really has divine nature. If you sign a contract with me, I can use divine light to help you awaken a second time." Li Lin-chun's eyes brightened at that. She immediately took off her coat excitedly. "Really? Then hurry and sign the contract." She lunged toward Han-Chien, startling him into stammering, "Wait, what are you doing? What does signing a contract have to do with taking off clothes?" Li Lin-chun smiled and explained, "I'm the author of a best-selling book. In my book, signing a contract requires close contact to complete." Han-Chien and Ha-U-Vi froze as if sprayed with glue. Han-Chien shook his head and sighed. "Looks like I have to save you from these ideas." He waved his hand in a circle. The contract glowed. Han-Chien shouted divine light. Immediately, Lai Lin-chan seemed to explode with energy, her clothes fluttering. The ancient divine weapon, the Nongding, appeared, radiating burning heat. "It's so hot." The feeling of the heat flowing into the body is really comfortable. Li Lin-chan is now an SSS level contract spirit, possessing then Nongding with divine nature and original true form cultivation talent. This allows her to bring in heavenly treasures rich in spiritual energy or materials from the insect clan into Than Nongding to refine and absorb the essence of all things. She condenses pure spiritual energy and restores the true form. Han-Chien was amazed. This talent can extract pure spiritual energy to help strengthen and break through space easily like condensing. Li Lin-chan was astonished. "Is this really my talent?" Han-Chien nodded. "Your talent is very strong. If not, let's see how it goes now." After hearing this, Ha-U-Vi blushed and muttered, "You all continue, I'll go pour some water to drink." She stepped out, thinking to herself, this little sister really is a spiritual level god, truly surprising. Just as she was about to pour water, she suddenly heard muffled sounds from the room. "Are you done? I want to put it in now. Wait a bit, slow down. Hurry up, it hurts." The voices became more shadowy. "Okay, put it in here." "Yeah, I'll put it in. Stop pouring once it's full, don't spill it." Ha-U-Vi angrily stormed in, shouting, "It's already midnight. What are you all doing?" She stepped in, blushing fiercely. When she saw the scene, it turned out Han-Chien and Li Lin-chun were refining pills. Li Lin-chun started the divine farmer cauldron to refine the ingredients. Han-Chien caught the shimmering pill, amazed, "Refined this many, you're really powerful. This is spirit energy pill, can increase energy by 1/10. Li Lin-chun excitedly rushed over and hugged Han-Chien. The pill refining fire inside them had not yet extinguished. Both collapsed and formed a heap. Li Lin-chun shouted, "Quick, the fire is burning! Put it out! Help me!" Han-Chien panicked, grabbing Ha-U-Vi's hand. "U-Vi, save me!" Ha-U-Vi couldn't help it and fell on top of Han-Chien. The fire inside Li Lin-chun flared fiercely. She cheered, "So comfortable, feels like about to conquer heaven." Han-Chien groaned in pain while Ha-U-Vi stammered, "Chien, why? I want to try too, is that okay?" Li Lin-chun shouted loudly. A long night passed, all three exhausted and sleeping soundly together. Early next morning, Li Lin-chun woke up tired, but excited. "So tired, didn't expect you to be so powerful and knowledgeable." These exchanges have made the spirit energy inside me much purer. Han Qin stood up and coughed lightly. All right, we should start the main task now. Li Lingchun wondered what main task. Ha Yuvi answered. Investigate the absorption of parasitic samples and search for missing people from Team 0527. Li Lingchun was curious. Who's missing? Ha Yuvi took out a photo and said, Bok Sung Jaher. Li Lingchun examined the photo and suddenly exclaimed, I think I've met her before. Isn't she the one who often comes to the dance room to practice at night? Ha Yuvi was surprised. How do you know that Li Lingchun proudly explained, I often go to that dance room. Vai Fong dance room is the biggest in all of Lam Thun, don't you know? Han Qin was delighted. Great, didn't expect we'd get a lead so quickly. He took out a spray bottle and sprayed it on everyone. Li Lingchun frowned. What is this? The smell is awful. Han Qin explained. It's a spray made from rhododendron. The parasite species is very sensitive to this scent. Smelling it will make them agitated, even frenzied. The group immediately went to a crowded tavern. Han Qin approached and asked the waiter, Hello? Is there a girl named Kong DNV here? The waiter was stunned, voice strange. Did you just say Kong DNV? Han Qin calmly nodded, yes, Kong DNV. Suddenly he declared, if anyone provides information about Kong DNV, we will pay for the entire party for everyone. The crowd around upon hearing this immediately cheered and the atmosphere became lively. Han Qin was confused, not understanding what was happening. What's going on? The waiter explained yesterday a customer came and owed a large bar tab. He said someone would come. Just mention the 3 words Kung Din V and that person would pay for the whole party and clear the debt. Ha! Uvai frowned. Who's so ungrateful? The waiter nodded. Definitely Dich Pham. He took out a wooden box and said this was what he left for me, instructing me to deliver it personally to him. I intended to open it, but couldn't. Han Qian suddenly asked, What is it? You opened the wooden box and inside was a note. You read aloud Dich Min recently discovered a relic site and was rewarded by the Guardians organization. Then the whole team went to the Wei Feng nightclub to celebrate, because for a special reason Dich Min was assigned to the front line and then lost contact. Vice Captain Zhao Hu replaced him as team leader. Han Qian pondered, This is what my teammate left behind. What is he trying to convey? You thought for a moment and said, the parasite started dividing in February, meaning there are currently 7 people infected. Ha Yu-Vi and Li Lin Chan suddenly realized, so that's how it is. Han Qin looked at the two, forcing a smile. Everyone wait a moment, my stomach feels uncomfortable. I'll go to the restroom. At the restroom, Han Qin hurried and bumped into a man. Excuse me, I'm in a rush. After relieving himself, he sighed with relief, so comfortable. The man suddenly smelled anger and shouted, What's that smell, foul? That's the scent of azalea flowers. He charged forward, growling, I hate this smell the most. A punch aimed straight at Han Qian's face, but his eyes flashed bright color-changing power, exploding as he threw the man far away. Something flew out from the man's head. Han Qian quickly caught it, a parasite. The parasite struggled violently, but he crushed it, breaking it into pieces. Ha Yu-Vi and Li Lin Chan rushed in, asking, What's going on? Han Qian spoke solemnly. The parasite had infested the owner of the Wei Feng nightclub. I've taken care of it. Li Lin Chan frowned. 7 people infected, now 1 is found. Who are the others? She analyzed, Based on your writing habits, bad guys are often close to team members of Dich Min. It's very likely they are infected. Han Qian nodded, preparing to leave. Let's get out of here first, then find new clues. Suddenly, another man appeared, wielding a knife, charging, I'll kill you. Han Qian lightly dodged and kicked, knocking the attacker away. The man screamed in pain, Ah! Another parasite flew out of his head. Han Qian quickly destroyed it. Li Lin Chan was stunned again. Another parasite? Ha Yu-Vi stepped forward, confirming, I've seen this person before. Seems like he's a subordinate of Zhao Hu. Han Qian suddenly realized, I get it now. But all those infected with parasites are connected to the Wei Feng nightclub, Dich Min, the nightclub owner, Bai Suangjia, and this person. He said solemnly, they all have ties to a temporary captain of the first team in Tamlam City, Zhao Hu. Suddenly, Han Qian panicked. Damn, they know where Dich Pham will go! At the spot, Zhao Hu was relaxed with a girl moaning in pleasure beneath him. Captain Zhao is so strong, I like it a lot. Suddenly, the door was kicked open. Dich Pham entered with a murderous look. Zhao Hu hurriedly pulled up his pants, smirking, Who are you? Dich Pham stepped forward. Zhao Hu, you killed Dich Min to steal his captain position and used corrosive parasites to suppress awakened geniuses and excellent contract spirits. You committed such crimes and still roam free. Zhao Hu sneered, You're Ditch Min's useless younger brother, right? Your wife is dead. Instead of licking your wounds, you come here to cause trouble. Ditch Pham clenched his fist tightly. Painful memories flooded back. He yelled, "It's all your fault! Today I will settle the score clearly." Zhou Hu still tried to justify, "Don't blame me. If you blame anyone, blame them. Their stance is weak and Tam Lam is insufficient." He looked at Ditch Pham and sneered, "You stand here spouting useless words. Aren't you afraid of my reinforcements?" Immediately, a group surrounded Ditch Pham. Zhou Hu pointed and shouted, "This guy dared to assassinate an important Guardian team member. Kill him on the spot!" The crowd charged forward. Ditch Pham's eyes blazed as he roared, "The wicked falsely accuse others." He exploded with power, "I will fight you to the death." At that moment, Han Qian, Ha Yuvi, and Li Lin Chan appeared. Han Qian's power knocked the crowd down. Zhou Hu was stunned. Han Qian and Ditch Pham smiled lightly. "You guys are here?" Han Qian replied, "If we didn't come, would you let him be surrounded alone?" Zhou Hu shouted, "Han Qian, you dare conspire with the assassin. This is looking for death." Han Qian coldly said, "This is a grudge between us and Zhou Hu. Anyone who doesn't want to die, get out of the way." The crowd ignored him, rushing fiercely. Han Qian smirked with contempt, charging forward, throwing punches, taking down the whole group. They fell face down, covered in wounds, lying scattered on the ground. Ditch Pham sighed admiringly. "Haven't seen him for a while, and his martial arts have improved so much." Li Lin Chun pointed. "Han Qian, Triu Ho is running." Han Qian instantly chased after him. "Triu Ho, you can't escape." He unleashed all his strength, shouting loudly, "Surrender!" A strike hit Triu Ho directly, leaving him no time to react and collapsing. Triu Ho spat blood, yelling, "Damn you, how dare you!" A real chai insect burst out from his head. Han Qian was not surprised. "So it's out now." While he punched and crushed the insect. Then looked at it, puzzled. "Isn't this the queen?" The crowd rushed forward, roaring, "Han Qian, how dare you kill Captain True? So bold. You think the Guardians organization, the strongest force in Thumlam City, is a joke." Han Qian was startled and realized he was in trouble. "We've fallen into a trap." Half an hour earlier at the City Lord's mansion, a girl reported, "The City Lord has documents needing your signature." The City Lord's forehead flickered with traces of real chai insects as he replied, "Bring them here." The girl was shocked as the City Lord let out a terrible scream. He turned back to Han Qian, who worriedly said, "I have a bad feeling. We need to leave quickly and find the Master. The Master will help us solve this." Ha Yuvi grabbed his hand. "No matter what happens, I'll face it with you." Han Qian ordered, "There's no more time. Go now." The three hurriedly left. At the Thumlam Guardians Alliance headquarters, Team 0527 received orders. Han Qian is suspected of assassinating Captain Triu Ho. Arrest him throughout the city. A sinister laugh sounded. Didn't expect the bait to be so effective. The big fish finally got hooked. Just as Han Qian stepped out the door, intending to separate from Ha Yuvi and Li Lin Chun to avoid trouble, he was blocked. A man appeared and shouted, "Han Qian, you killed an important member of the organization and still won't surrender." He ordered, "Kneel down right here." Li Tudong leisurely enjoyed his tea. A mysterious figure spoke up. "Li Tudong, aren't you in a hurry? Your heir is surrounded, evidence is clear, and will be publicly executed tomorrow." Li Tudong paused, then roared like a tiger. "They definitely want to target me." "Is that so? Even if you kill this quantum state clone, it's useless." The mysterious figure laughed. "Lao Thung has prepared many quantum clones for us, right?" Li Tudong softened and smiled lightly. "Almost forgot about that." The mysterious figure disappeared, and Lum Kin Huyen appeared. "Master, do you want me to rescue the junior brother?" Li Tudong calmly replied. "I've let them cause chaos in the organization for a long time, but still haven't found the mastermind. They thought to use Triu Ho to lure Han Qian to control me, but why can't Han Qian be the bait I released?" He sipped his tea, contemplative. "The world is like a chess game. Every move is new." "Han Qian, you've made it hard for me." In the prison cell, Han Qian was confined, his gaze resolute. A man entered and shouted, "Still refusing to confess." Han Qian coldly said, "Confess, what crime have I committed?" He was punched hard, causing Han Qian to groan in pain. He growled, "Shut up and wake up! Li Tudong can't save you now." He presented two choices. First, join us. You don't need to know who we are. Just know Li Tudong represents the past and we are the future. Second, keep going like this and tomorrow you'll be cut in half by the blade. Han Qian sneered. So the level 4 corrosive insects were deliberately left for ditchmen to find and bring back to Thumlam City by you. He laughed coldly. To us, the insect clan isn't the enemy. Used properly, they are powerful tools. Nothing is impossible. Han Qian laughed scornfully. So that's how it is. I know what I have to choose. He narrowed his eyes. What's your choice? Han Qian answered coldly. I choose the third way. He was furious, looking for death. Yet the next day, the news exploded. Team 0527 Captain Han Qian betrayed the organization and killed an important figure. He will be executed today at the execution ground. The city lord ordered, Is everything ready? Execute on time. A subordinate reported 3 have escaped. Haiyu V, Li Ling Chun, and Dick Pham have not been caught yet. Very cunning. They might be hiding in the old villa. The city lord waved his hand. Keep searching. He looked down at Han Qian, puzzled. About to be executed, yet he's still so calm. Could he have a trump card? Han Qian pondered silently. Master is implying I should just let it be. He will protect me from trouble. Could it be he already knows everything? Setting a trap. The audience murmured, Isn't this Lin Ke-su awakening an SS-level talent? Oh my God, how did he become a traitor? The Lord of Thumlam City stepped forward, his voice echoing. Dear citizens, today, we witness a young genius fall from grace. Han Qian could have become an outstanding Lin Ke-su, but because of personal grudges, he slaughtered innocent people and colluded with the insect tribe to disrupt the peace of Thumlam City. Is such a person worthy of death? The crowd shouted, Kill him! Kill him! Kill him! Kill him! The Lord smiled smugly and ordered the execution. The blade fell, the head dropped. Han Qian was hanging by a thread, but at that moment a secret button was pressed. The blade stopped just a few centimeters from his neck. The Lord angrily said, What's going on? Is the machine broken? Who dares to interfere? A voice stepped forward and said, Han Qian is my benefactor. I do not accept this punishment. Thuong Ti Ding, a merchant's man, appeared. The crowd whispered, The merchant is intervening too. Another person shouted, We also agree. Suddenly, a man dressed in black, Han Qian's 8th senior brother, appeared before Li Thudong. He sneered coldly, Han Qian is already at the execution block. You lost. Li Thudong calmly replied, The game isn't over yet. Why rush to conclusions? The man in black frowned. Old Lai acted too fast. We almost found the mastermind behind this. He turned to the old merchant. Could it really be the old merchant? Laugh, don't falsely accuse me. If he were the mastermind, would he let Thuong Ti Ding go to the execution block? Are you serious? Any clues? The man in black answered that organization left a trace called Fa Hu. At the execution ground, the crowd was chaotic. Someone shouted that the merchant's intervention is not simple. Han Qian was freed and stepped forward, his voice firm. I am Han Qian, becoming a Lin Ke-su, not just to survive, but to protect humanity and the nation. I will not let the insect tribe invade and harm Thumlam City. The crowd murmured. Does he have patriotism? Could he be a traitor? Just then, the elder of the Protector organization appeared and shouted, Everyone be silent. The crowd panicked. Oh my God, the pressure is too intense. Who is he? The elder of the Protector roared. Executing Han Qian is Fa Hu's mission. No one is allowed to interfere. Today, you must die. He swung his hand, sending a huge aura flying straight at Han Qian. But at that moment, the aura was stopped and instantly shattered. The elder was stunned. What's going on? Who dares to stop me? Before he could react, he was struck by a surprise blow and collapsed. People below, given a few kilos of salt to sell, looked on blankly. What's happening? Who attacked? We can't see clearly. Thuong Ti Ding spotted a figure from a distant building. It was Han Qian's master. At the same time, the city lord of the Guardians rushed in, radiating killing intent. Han Qian, today no one can save you. But Han Qian unleashed his power and easily broke free from the chains. He shouted, Master has taken action. The time has come. The city lord launched an attack, but Han Qian dodged as fast as lightning. Suddenly, he appeared beside the city lord and delivered a powerful punch. The strike sent the city lord crashing to the ground, causing a violent tremor. He lost consciousness. A corrosive worm lord flew out of Han Qian's body and shouted, Where do you think you're running? Han Qian immediately grabbed the worm lord and crushed it without hesitation. The crowd was stunned. What is that? An insect. Han Qian raised the bug's corpse high, his voice echoing everyone. This is a 4th stage real feeding worm. It parasitizes the human body, causing chaos and destroying our relationships. You may not believe it, but everything I do is to protect humanity. Someone exclaimed, The city lord looks strange. Turns out he was controlled by the real feeding worm. Another side lucky Han Qian stepped in, or the consequences would have been unimaginable. Lai Thudong, Han Qian's master, stepped forward, smiling. So how was this experience? Do you feel the boundary between life and death yet? Han Qian replied, solving problems with you is refreshing, but next time I want to lead the troops myself. Lai Thudong nodded approvingly. You did well. The Worm Lord is dead. The remaining real feeding worms were also found. This time you made a great contribution. He sighed, just a pity I was too harsh earlier and left no clues about Fa Hu. Han Qian asked, what is Fa Hu? Master Lai Thudong spoke gravely, a secret organization concealed within the ranks of the 5 Guardians. Currently, we have no further information. Ditch. Pham stepped forward, voice sad. Captain, I found the body of Bok Shuangjia. Han Qian was stunned. Where did you find her? Dick Pham replied this event caused 101 deaths. Her body, along with others, was frozen and prepared for a sea funeral. Han Qian bowed his head in pain. Bok Shuangjia, I couldn't protect you, I'm sorry. At the sea funeral, the atmosphere was heavy. Bok Shuangjia's body floated, veins slowly appearing on her face. Her skin changed color, then suddenly an insect crawled out of her body. The crowd was horrified after death insects parasitize and lay larvae inside her body. Yes, sometime after the real feeding worm incident. Lai Thudong looked at Han Qian Ha Uv and Lai Lin Chan and asked, have you all broken through to the 3rd stage? Han Qian nodded. Yes, master. Lin Chan has reached the 3rd stage, catching up with us. UV has also awakened many more melodies. I'll have to train harder from now on. Lai Lin Chan smiled at Han Qian. Wait for me to awaken more, then you'll sign a contract with me. Okay. Han Qian shook his head with a smile. I only sign contracts with spirit contracts that have divine attributes, because I can help them best. Li Lin Chan was excited. Okay, hopefully after the 3rd stage I will have divine attributes. Lai Thudong nodded. There's no longer a suitable place behind for your training. What's your plan? Han Qian replied, eyes determined. I want to become strong on my own, opening a path in this apocalyptic world. Li Thudong was pleased. Good, I will contact Nui Khan. Yes, tomorrow a plane will take you to the frontline battlefield, the first war zone where preparations for the big year-end battle with the insect clan are underway. But for training, you must go alone. The cultivation methods of spirit contracts and spirit contract masters differ. I've arranged a better place for Yu Vai and Lan Chan. Han Qian clasped his hands. Yes, master. I will follow your orders and fight on the frontline battlefield where humanity resists the insect clan invasion. High-powered weapons continuously fire, overwhelming the enemy in harsh conditions. A voice shouted, quickly transfer the wounded immediately. Tiu Nyai, an angry soldier, said, Old Trong, your squad lost 3 men and you still dare to run back? Ask me that. Old Trong angrily said, nonsense. The standard squad has 5 people. If 3 die, can't we wait for reinforcements? Your squad is missing 2 people and you still call for help. Aren't you ashamed? Tiu Nyai shouted back. Am I like you? I'm here on an elite mission. While the 2 young men were fiercely arguing, a roaring engine sound cut through from above. A helicopter flew over and gently landed on a nearby open field. The door flung open and a confident figure stepped out. It was Han Qian. Hello, my name is Han Qian. I'm a new soldier. Why are you alone? Where's your Kaylin? He looked up with sharp eyes, assessing the other person. They're at home, not coming here. Are you kidding? This is a battlefield and you come alone looking for death. A squad leader, Tiu Nai, frowned suspiciously. He observed carefully and noticed Han Qian's clothing was very different from typical rookies. Captain Tu, you should calm down a bit. This guy isn't someone to mess with. Judging by his outfit, he clearly didn't come from the recent Lean Key combat training camp. Don't you get it? This is a noble son from the city. An old soldier named Truong, standing nearby, interjected in a somewhat hoarse tone. Do you think this is a hunting ground? The noble son, acting all delicate, is really annoying. Old Truong sneered and turned to Tiu Nyai, his eyes flashing fiercely. I have a suggestion. Can we temporarily assign this noble son to your squad? No, absolutely not. You promised he'd choose first. Why go back on your word? Fine, if you won't accept him, then I will. Tiu Nyai grunted coldly and turned to the young man with a reluctant gaze. Young man, come with me to meet the other teammates. I'll follow you. Han Qian nodded and walked leisurely. Tiu Nyai glanced at him and asked again, Right, what's your name? Here I am, Lin K Master Level 3 Han Qian. I'm Tiu Nyai Lin K Master Level 4 and also the current squad leader. By regulation, you will be accepted and join our team. And here are your teammates named Tai the Fong and Tich Tu Tien. Tiu Nyai pointed to the 2 teammates speaking evenly. Tai the Fung was soaked from head to toe, frowning and muttering, "Captain, this mission soaked me all over. I need to dry my clothes first." He looked at Han Qian with a scrutinizing gaze. "New guy, come help me fix my shirt, it's stuck." "Here, let me help you." Han Qian stepped forward, skillfully adjusting Tiu Tian's shirt. She smiled gently. "Thank you for your help." "No need for thanks." Tai. The Fuang interjected curiously. "Captain, is this the new teammate? Why is he alone? Could it be he brought a shape-shifting Kaylin?" "Very professional." Han Qian smiled confidently, introducing, "Let me introduce myself to you both. My name is Han Qian. First time meeting you, I brought a small gift for everyone. Please accept it." Then from the space ring on his hand, Han Qian took out 3 sets of armor and handed them to each person. Tai the Fung's eyes widened in astonishment. This is Wind Guard level 6 armor? Oh my god, this is so precious. Thank you, we won't be polite then. Tiu Tian waved her hand calmly. "I don't need it, I'm a mecha control master. No need for armor." Tio Nyai stood nearby observing Han Qian with deep eyes. As expected of a noble son from the city, not only does he have space to store items, he also brought level 6 armor. I wonder which clan he's from. Truly generous. He put on the armor decisively. "All right, I'm going to receive the mission and supplies. You all get to work first." "Okay, got it, Captain Tiu." Han Qian nodded, eyes sparkling with a smile, ready to integrate with the new team. After Captain Tio left, Han Qian couldn't help but be curious about the commander's strength. With sparkling eyes, he turned to ask Tiu Tian, "Is Captain Tiu really a mecha control master?" Tiu Tian nodded evenly, but couldn't hide a bit of pride. "Yes, our old Tiu lost his Kaylin in a head-on battle. The battlefield arranged a second career chance for him so he could continue piloting the mecha in combat. But what he despises the most are the noble figures who only live off the fame of their clans." She paused, her eyes briefly embarrassed as she remembered Han Qian's identity. "Ah, sorry, I forgot. You're also a noble son." Tai. The Fuang waved his hand with a teasing tone. "All right, everyone, stop talking nonsense. Get ready to head out and carry out the mission." Han Qian frowned, looking toward Tai the Fuang. "And here is the team's intel. So what exactly is our mission?" Captain Tiu Nyai, just returned, stood straight with a deep but sharp voice. "It's the green mission to annihilate the Supreme." Han Qian was stunned, his eyes showing confusion. "What does annihilate the Supreme mean?" Tai. The Fuang sneered, stepped closer, and explained with a full hint of meaning. "I'm sure you all know about the Aiki Snake Clan, right? The Aiki Snake Clan reproduces at an incredibly fast rate. In the never-ending battles on the front lines afterward, Tu Nai nodded, his eyes sharp as knives. However, the sudden powerful return of the commander of War Zone 1 Ngui Khan over a month ago broke this balance. Marshal Ngui led a solo charge from Thu Hong Huang, directly breaking through the Aiki Snake Clan's supply lines, causing combat losses to skyrocket to a horrifying 100,000. Compared to one who stopped his eyes, scanned the whole team, his voice lowered. Though Ngui Khan's sudden strike caught the Aiki Snake Clan off guard, very soon 4 golden 8-stage snakes wrapped tightly around him. The two sides fought along the way, soon leaving the battlefield and continuing their fight elsewhere. Tiu Tian added calmly but determinedly, "The latest mission directive came from War Zone 2. They used the talents of the Spirit Pact Masters to calculate the positions of dozens of these snake nests. The fastest and nearest mobile units in each area will be responsible for carrying out the mission to destroy the snake nests." Tiu Nyai stood straight, his eyes blazing with determination. "All right, time is running out. Let's move out." "Understood, Captain." The whole team responded in unison, their spirits rising. They quickly set off toward the designated location led by Tiu Nyai in his combat armor shimmering with metallic light. The group heightened their vigilance each step, steady on the perilous path. "We're close to the target," Tiu Nyai said in a deep but authoritative voice. At that moment, Han Qian suddenly realized something, his sharp eyes scanning the surroundings. He pointed ahead with a wary voice. "Hey, look, I think we've arrived." In front of Han Qian, strange white strips appeared, hanging suspended on the dry branches. Tiu Tian frowned and stepped forward to observe. "What is this? Why is it so long?" Tai the Fuang squinted, his voice lowering as he noticed something unusual. "If I'm not mistaken, this is the shed skin of the Aiki Snake Clan. Every time they advance a rank, they shed their skin once. Suddenly, Tunyai spoke from inside the armor with a tense voice. "This isn't good. These cunning IQ snakes have hidden their eggs inside the skin." Sure enough, at that moment, a bunch of snake eggs hidden in the white skin started falling to the ground. The snake skin stretched out to 730 meters, covered with millions of eggs, the layer shimmering with a pale light. Clearly, this is the target snake nest of the mission. Just then, a snake egg cracked slightly, producing a cracking sound. Tai the Phuong and Tich. Tien heard it simultaneously, their eyes alert. But before they could react, many other eggs cracked open, emitting a sharp, piercing sound that made the whole team clutch their heads in pain. A terrifying shockwave from the exploding eggs threw Tunyai's armor down the mountain cliff. Being a ground-only combat armor, Tunyai was completely helpless against the impact. Seeing the captain in danger, Han Qian didn't hesitate and rushed after him despite the risk. His reckless action caused Tai the Phuong and Tich Tien at the cliff top to panic, their eyes full of worry as they watched Han Qian jump down to save him. Tunyai roared from inside the armor, his voice full of anger. "Fool, go complete the mission. I don't need you to save me." But Han Qian didn't listen. With immense strength, he grabbed one arm of the armor and with all his force threw both Tunyai and the heavy machine back up the cliff. With Han Qian's support, Tunyai and the armor safely returned to their original position atop the cliff. Tai the Phuong and Tich Tien called out Han Qian's name, their voices trembling with worry. Tunyai just escaped danger and looked down the deep cliff, his eyes full of amazement mixed with confusion. How is this possible? How does he have such great strength to throw a heavy mech suit like that in midair? Tich Tien bit her lip, her voice trembling. "Captain, the cliff is so high, Han Qian will definitely fall to his death. Sorry, it's all my fault I've put him in danger." At that moment, from the bottom of the cliff, Han Qian clung tightly to the rock wall and struggled to climb up, his voice echoing with determination. "Hey, I'm not dead yet. Pull me up quickly." Tich Tien breathed a sigh of relief, her eyes sparkling with joy. "Oh, you really scared us." Tai the Phuong laughed loudly with a teasing tone. "That's right. If you died, who would be the hero to tell the story? You're really foolish. Is it worth sacrificing yourself for me? Besides, our important mission is to destroy the snake nest. You should hurry to complete the mission instead of wasting time on me." Han Qian just pulled up, nodded seriously. "Okay, I got it, Captain." But right then, the snake eggs began to crack open and hordes of baby snakes crawled out in terrifying numbers. President Tien gasped in horror, her voice trembling. "This is bad. They are the baby snakes of the Snake Clan. Have they hatched in such huge numbers already? Everyone should be careful." Tai the Phuong widened his eyes, watching the snakes surge like a violent wave. "Oh my God, so many snakes. Are we going to die here?" The baby snakes with poisonous gleaming eyes began to advance toward the team. Tunyai in his mech suit shouted with determination, "You guys go quickly, I'll hold them off from behind." But with the overwhelming number of snakes, escaping was impossible. Just then, Han Qian suddenly stepped forward, raised his space ring, and a radiant yellow shield spread out to cover the entire team. The baby snakes seemed to sense the power and immediately stopped before the shield, bowing respectfully to Han Qian. Tai the Phuong's eyes went wide in astonishment. "What's going on? Those snake hordes seem to be showing submission to us." Tich Tien turned to Tunyai urgently. "Captain, why are you still standing there? Burn them all." Without hesitation, Tunyai activated his mech suit and unleashed a fierce blaze. The flames burst forth, engulfing the baby snakes and lighting up the forest with a brilliant red glow. Han Qian stood calmly looking at Tunyai. "Hey, Han Qian, what did you just do?" "I just used a suppression device." Tai the Phuong gasped in admiration. "Wow, you're amazing." After a while of burning, Tunyai's mech suit fuel ran out, the flames died down, and the baby snakes were incinerated to ashes. Tunyai looked at Han Qian with complicated eyes, wondering what kind of person he really was. He was completely different from other rich kids. Han Qian smiled faintly, his voice calm. "As you see, I'm not a master hiding power or anything. I'm really just a level 3 spirit tamer." Tunyai snorted lightly, suspiciously. "Humph, no one would believe you." Just then, a warning sounded from Tunyai's communication device. He frowned, checking the info. "Huh, what's going on here?" Tich Tien stepped forward worriedly. "Captain, what's wrong? Is something happening?" Tunyai's voice turned serious, his eyes cold. "The completion rate of the Death Cut Supreme mission is very poor. Less than 10 teams overall have finished it, including ours. Luckily, we have Han Qian's help, otherwise we would have definitely failed. The Snake Clan's reinforcement points are all marked on the battle map. Newborn snakes must pass through certain mandatory routes to join the battlefield when they mature. He looked at Han Chien, his eyes shining with hope. Han Chien, you have the miraculous ability to subdue millions of Snake Clan snakes. If we hold these mandatory routes, we can destroy them all before they join the battlefield. What do you think? Can we eliminate them all? Han Chien frowned, his eyes thoughtful. I'm not sure, but if we don't run now, we will definitely be wiped out. Han Chien's fear came from a huge shadow on a towering treetop, a level 5 Aiki guard snake, staring threateningly at the team, its cold eyes like blades. Tik-Tu-Tien trembled, her voice cracking as she realized, if I'm not mistaken, that's the guardian of the snake nest. Thigh. The Fung's eyes widened, sweat beading on his forehead. Oh God, it's huge. What are you all still standing there for? Run now? Tiunyai gritted his teeth, his gaze firm but tense. Damn it! We can't beat this guy at all. Run fast or we're done for. To buy time for his teammates, Tiunyai decided to stay behind alone to face the giant snake. You all go ahead, I'll hold it off from the rear. The attacks from Tiunyai's exoskeleton made the snake roar fiercely, but its massive body seemed unaffected. The bullets were like mosquito bites, causing no harm. On the contrary, the snake opened its huge mouth and bit tightly onto Tiunyai's exoskeleton. With a powerful snap, the sturdy machine shattered into pieces. Tiunyai was thrown aside, blood spreading over his clothes, his body covered in wounds. Tai the Fung and Tik-Tu-Tien witnessed the scene with hearts tangled like threads. They intended to rush forward to save their captain, but before they could act, the giant snake shifted its target straight towards them. Just as its sharp teeth lunged forward, a dazzling shield suddenly appeared, blocking the attack. Tai the Fung shouted excitedly, "What is this thing?" Tik-Tu-Tien breathed a sigh of relief, her eyes shining with hope. This is the 6th grade defensive gear that Han Chien gave us. It's working. Great. We're saved. But before joy could bloom, a terrible turn happened. The snake opened its mouth and sprayed a dense stream of venom. The terrifying corrosive poison pierced through the shield and struck Tai the Fung and Tik-Tu-Tien directly. In the blink of an eye, both were unable to resist and collapsed on the spot, their lives fading away in the poison. Han Chien, seeing his teammates fall, was stunned into numbness. But as the giant snake turned its deadly gaze to him, rage ignited in his chest. His spiritual power burst forth, his eyes blazing like fire. He swiftly dodged to the side, avoiding the snake's attack. Without hesitation, Han Chien drew his sword and shouted, unleashing the long Tuong Thao Fong Lai move. Fierce swirling winds erupted around him, carrying a destructive momentum. At that moment, the giant snake revealed a strange transformation. A sharp horn suddenly sprouted from its head, flashing deadly light. With a swift motion, it thrust the horn toward Han Chien, filled with overwhelming killing intent. A thunderous clash erupted as the giant snake's sharp horn collided with Han Chien's long Tuong Tao Fong Lai technique. But the 5th grade guardian's power was too overwhelming, and Han Chien's move was nullified in an instant. Han Chien staggered and fell to the ground, his eyes flashing helplessness. Damn, the 5th grade guardian is too strong. I can't face it head on. The snake, seeing its target fall, immediately lunged forward with gleaming sharp teeth, full of murderous intent. But then, an unexpected event occurred from above. A blinding light tore through the sky, aimed straight at the snake's head. A thunderous explosion rang out, and the giant monster collapsed, its head pierced through. A radiant sword was deeply embedded in its head, emitting a brilliant light like a sacred flame. This sword had created the destructive beam just now. Han Chien's eyes widened in astonishment at the scene, but with just one strike like that, a graceful figure descended from above, her hair flowing in the wind. Han Chien recognized the person who had saved him and quickly stood up, bowing his head in thanks to the girl before him. With a strong aura and a confident smile, she said, "Oh, my little brother, you look not bad at all, quite my type. But I'm no senior to you guys. I'm from the GE City." This was the place often mentioned by spirit bond masters as the Liu Fang territory. Han Chien murmured in surprise, "Liu Fang City, GE City." The girl nodded, her eyes sparkling with pride. Most of them are exiles rejected by the nations, so they're all sent to a large concentration camp, also known as the Lower City area. But their cruelty lies in daily life. Whatever they want to do, they'll do anything to achieve it. At this moment, the girl's attribute information appeared in Han Qian's eyes. Gong Duong Kan Spirit Bond. Rank. SSS Level 8 Grade. Transformation Form. Extremely destructive characteristic female war god. Han Qin stood stunned, murmuring, "What? She's an 8th grade female war god." Gong Duong Kan suddenly appeared behind Han Qian, her voice melodious and enchanting. "What's the name of that tune you just played?" "I can feel it. Every cell in my body has been enhanced. I even feel like I could punch the Snake King to pieces with one blow. Looks like I'm going to take you as my personal combat assistant then." Han Qian stopped her, his eyes flashing with surprise at Gong Duong Kan's proposal. He quickly replied with a hint of challenge. "Wait, what did you just say?" "Oh," Gong Duong Kan curled her lips, her eyes shining with a proud smile. "What's the matter? A tiny 3rd-grade spirit bond master dares to resist. My mission isn't finished yet. I can't leave." She tilted her head teasingly. "Oh, what if I force you to come with me?" Han Qian smiled without hesitation. "Exactly. Then I'll just kill myself, ha-ha!" Gong Duong Kan laughed. His eyes showed delight. "Didn't expect you to be so stubborn. Tell me, what would it take for you to come with me?" Han Qian recognized her fondness as an opportunity. He smiled fiercely, confidently. "If you want me to go, you have to face the newly hatched IQ Bug Clan on the battlefield with me and completely destroy them." Gong Duong Kan raised an eyebrow casually. "I thought you'd ask for something outrageous." "Fine, I agree. Here's a part of the Snake Clan's deployment map. There are 3 spots nearby where we can ambush the baby snakes supporting the main battlefield from this side. Coordinate with the main force of Daiha to complete the decisive counterattack." Han Qian nodded, his eyes shining with determination. "All right, no problem." But just then, something unexpected happened. Behind Gong Duong Kan, a strange aura suddenly flared up. A terrifying demonic face appeared hovering in the air. Han Qian's startled eyes tense. "This is bad. The demonic energy in the wound is activating." Gong Duong Kan shouted, body trembling as the demonic energy invaded. "Try to hold her down. Run quickly." Han Qian, though not fully understanding, didn't hesitate. He summoned the high cam flock, activating the flock's power. It created a powerful pressure wave. Surprisingly, this power not only restrained Gong Duong Kan, but also gradually dispelled the demonic energy in her body. After a while, her eyes cleared, the eerie aura faded. She looked at Han Qian, amazed. "Was that you just now?" Han Qian smiled, faintly calmly. "Than Tam Tan is effective for healing and suppression. It's nothing. But tell me what's with this wound." Gong Duong Kan sighed, her gaze darkening slightly. "I was injured by a 9-rank Emperor bug. Though lucky to escape death, it left a wound inside me. That 9-rank Emperor bug's name is Yem. Its aura can control my body. It makes me fall into a killing frenzy." Han Qian pondered, eyes flashing curiosity. Didn't expect a 9-rank Emperor bug to be that powerful. He stepped closer seriously. "Can I examine your wound?" Gong Duong Kan laughed, eyes twinkling mischievously. "You're really brave. You even dare to claim my comfort. Fine, but after you check it, I'm gouging your eyes out." Han Qian said nothing, focusing on examining the wound. Not deep, but the demonic aura still lingers. He nodded confidently. "This wound isn't deep. It's treatable." Gong Duong Kan looked at him surprised as Han Qian touched the wound directly without hesitation. Han Qian concentrated his power, activating Than Tam Tan. He began treating Gong Duong Kan's wound. The process made her wince slightly. A sharp pain flashed across her strong face. After a while, the wound was gradually controlled. The demonic aura faded. Gong Duong Kan breathed out, impressed. Than Tam Tan suppresses well, but can't eliminate it. Han Qian pondered, then his eyes lit up with determination. He took out the Shen Nong cauldron, a treasure glowing with mysterious light. Gong Duong Kan's eyes widened, amazed. "Wow, you really keep surprising me. As a spirit contract master, you actually have 2 spirit contracts." Han Qian didn't answer, focusing on his actions. He gathered the nearby icky snake corpses, piled them into the Shen Nong cauldron. After a while of refining, pure spiritual energy radiated out. Han Qian carefully infused the refined product into Gong Duong Kan's body. The warm energy spread, making her feel unprecedented comfort. She smiled, excited. "Not bad, the wound is already half healed. Hey, can you try once more?" "It's really very comfortable." Han Qian shook his head, his eyes showing a hint of helplessness. "Do you want to try again? You just saw it too. I use my talent to consume millions upon millions of insect tribe flesh and blood to obtain spiritual power. Now, if I want to use it again, unless you give me another pile of flesh and blood like that." Gong Duong Kan curled his lips, his eyes sparkling with fighting spirit. "If you say that isn't that going to destroy someone else's larvae? Let's go now. We're going to deal with those larvae."